Hey, what's going on, everyone? It is David Palmer, Leo King, and Rich Lopp here for the Awakening Experience. Of course, right at the beginning here, 2024, weird holograms everywhere. It's getting weird out there, but it's also getting high vibe and totally awakening experience time. What's going on, Rich? How are you, bro?
What's up, man?
I'm good.
Yeah, they didn't waste no time, did they?
No, right away.
Yeah, I'm kind of stoked about it because, you know, we've been talking and warning like 2024 is going to be crazy, you know? And I mean, naturally, we always want to try to revert back to something that we're familiar with. So I'm thinking about the 2020 playbook,
right?
You know, that kind of warmed us up a little bit in the fall and then a little bit more in the winter. And then they didn't really hit us until what, like 2 or 3 months into 2020. So I was thinking we still got a little ways to wait, but they're already busting out the fucking holograms and shit. You know, I'm like, oh, damn, man, they're kicking it off.
They're busting that out. They're busting Stephen Hawking, busting through windows in his fucking wheelchair, looking for fucking midgets to go do puzzles on chalkboards with. I mean, I'm literally like, not surprised though. I think, you know, I mean, as an astrologer, I know 2024, I've been saying it for so long, but I think even anybody that's been in the awakening experience, we've all felt 2024 was like imprinted in our holographic minds or something. Yeah. Would you say so? Did you always have something about that date?
Not really. Honestly.
No, really not.
I mean, well, I mean, it's kind of weird because for me, like I've said before, I was forewarned that they were going to crash the world's economy for a global financial reset in 2018. They didn't say when, they just said a lot sooner than you think. And I wasn't thinking 2 years. I'm like, good God, this is probably something 5-10 years down the line. But not even thinking about that. When 2019 rolled around, I'm thinking common sense should tell anybody that they're going to pull something crazy in 2020.
Right.
So I wasn't even connecting the dots with those two. And then it all became kind of clear, and you know, I started digging deeper into the truth movement and finding out even more of what's really going on. And now it's just been kind of abundantly clear to me since, you know, in 2019, I thought it was obvious that they're going to pull something crazy because they don't want Donald Trump to run for president again. Right. And then here he's going to run for president again in 2024. You know they're going to pull something crazy. I mean, I'm not saying that's the only reason, but these should be some of the precursors that I think would, even for somebody who's not awake, to be thinking, oh, okay, well, this is what they did last time, you know, but 2024 specifically, not particularly. It's just, to me, kind of like common sense because of what they've been doing and the way the playbook's been going, you know? Yeah,
I mean, you brought up some good points because, gosh, I mean, that just makes you think just how much right off the bat really has been going on. But it's one of those things to where everything that's happening has a big question mark on it that's like in your face. Like the Miami situation, I've never seen more cops. Like, and I used to watch the show Cops, or, you know, even when there's school shootings or there's fucking 9/11, but, you know, there was a lot of cops and fire trucks, but I've never seen where I can't even count. I mean, it was hundreds around that mall. Yeah. And they're just saying it was because there was some young kids fighting with sticks and fucking weird shit. Yeah. There's definitely a lot of questions to it, but I really do look at everything as like, it's like the universe is trying to wake people up.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, why are people kind of brushing it all off? I don't know. I think it goes to some deeper subconscious shit. Like, I was thinking of Billy Carson and how he goes through like the Bible and it will trigger people, you know, but he's like, that's probably more the devil than most people think. Yeah. And, you know, it's like, there's a lot of things people don't want to face within themselves. I mean, the last episode we did about the splitting of this new earth energy, I would say that's already happening. Like, it's already, it's not like it's not happening. It's already happening. We're in the moment of it. And, you know, maybe going with you, what would be some good reasons for this dark force to try and fool people with holograms? Because, I mean, I think you and I are on the same page of it feeling it like a hologram. It's not a physical, real alien. Because the way they're doing it is like, well, I don't know, man.
That's kind of a layered question because, you know, this This has been a plan years and years in the making. We've been hearing about Project Bluebeam for fucking years. But the more, after 2020 popped off and I started digging in deeper, I knew about the deep state's plan. I was forewarned about that. I didn't know that there was a good plan in play too. I didn't know about that until I started really listening to some of the truthers and about the good guys and the white hats and this and that. And at first I was kind of skeptical, but then, you know, I was just step back and observe. And then the shit that they were saying was actually happening and coming true. And I'm like, okay, I can kind of see this now. Like they'll say this is going to happen and, you know, it doesn't happen until 6 months to a year later, but still things start unrolling, you know, the way they say they're going to happen. And in the truth community, it was they were going to use all the bad guys' shit against them. They weren't going to stop anything from happening per se. They're going to go ahead and let the dark force roll it out, but it's going to be more controlled than what it originally would have been. So they were saying, you know, we're still going to shut down the world's economy for a global financial reset. We're going to use a virus, vaccine, 5G, riots, and an alien invasion. And that's the one thing that we haven't seen yet is the alien invasion. So I've been kind of sitting back this whole time wondering when they're going to bust out the holograms. And then it wasn't really, I didn't think a whole lot of it until I saw that video I showed you earlier, that dude on TikTok. He said, I was there. I was a witness. I saw what happened. He said, you know, me and my family were at the mall and, you know, there was something going on with a bunch of people crowded around, and we ran over there to see what it was, and there were these 9-10 foot tall creatures that were glitching. They looked like they were glitching. Right. And that right there gave it away. Yup, fucking hologram, dude. Of course.
Yeah, and especially when you have that many police presence, you have that many people running out of the mall, and let's be honest, the media didn't cover it.
Yeah.
Like already, you know that it's like a failed attempt. They're trying. They're trying to. Oh, they also could be trying to like purposely not do it to make people start to question it. Yeah. So they start rattling their own crazy opinions to believe it, because then it makes you actually think, oh, there really are aliens and they're trying to hide them.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So like that's part of the psyop of the plot Project Bluebeam is. Whether it's holographic, but you have to think of the other aspect of it psychologically too, is like, oh, if we have people really in question to make it look like we're covering something up, which they've been doing forever. Yeah. The whole psyop isn't just the Project Bluebeam, it's been the psyop prior of the idea that they've been covering up so much. It just got released last night that, I don't know if you remember, but we had the UAP hearings that in 2023, and then that's where, you know, supposedly David Grush, that guy says, oh, you know, he was in that high intel aspect. He was part of the UAP fucking special task force that was looking into it. And he says, oh, I heard from witnesses and I have the evidence that there's non-human entities. Well, this motherfucker finally, it just got leaked, had a meeting on Wall Street with a bunch of investors. And with those investors, he started with, there was a UFO, that UFO whistleblower guy, David Grush. He started having big meetings because he claimed that the U.S. was in possession of a 40-foot TARDIS-like craft that was the size of a football field when you stepped inside, to try and get money to start funneling to different places and to also understand what's coming. So like all the pictures are out. It's on my Twitter. I redid it and somebody finally put the pictures. So when you went to that mind mastery and then that guy fucking started, it's like that shit.
Oh, okay.
They're doing that shit right now. Huh. So that guy, and I don't trust that guy, because that guy, when you look him up, he formed a corporation that literally says that they're here to help the government with disclosure, soft disclosure. To do it to the public correctly, whatever correctly means. Yeah, yeah. And I think that's the problem, is like there is, when you're seeing a guy come out and that guy looks weird, and then you're seeing the thing that's happening in Miami, and then the way that they're trying to have it funneled through TikTok videos and stuff to make people so in question. Yeah. That's more to me the psyop than when they actually put a fucking hologram out and try and tell you don't leave your fucking house. and people are going to be afraid and not leave their house because there's going to be fucking some sort of spaceship or 9-foot fucking beings that are projected. And, you know, that's why they put movies like Avatar out and shit and make you feel, oh my God, the guys from Avatar are fucking here or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, you know?
I mean, that's where it gets so slippery because of the way that they've been talking about wanting to wake the public up. And at first I didn't agree with it. And I mean, because all of us who have been awake for a long, long time, we've just been wanting for them to come out with it. Like, just fucking put it out there and slap everybody in the face with it. Well, apparently the people who are in control of the operation don't think that that's the way it should be done. Now, as much as none of us agree with that, if you take a look back, it has been working effectively because, I mean, I don't care who you are. Way more people are awake now than they were back in 2020. Way, way more. But, I mean, for us, it's been kind of anticlimactic because it's been so slow and gradual. And this is the way that they want to do it. But then when you're looking at the people who are doing soft disclosure, it's sometimes you can't really tell who's playing what side. It's slippery. You really gotta, and that's why I always say, in this day and age, you have to be so in tune with your intuition. Yeah. When you're watching somebody and you're observing them, be like, all right, are you a good guy or a bad guy? What side are you playing? Sometimes it can be really hard to tell. Really hard.
I'm glad that you brought up to trust your own intuition in these times, because when I saw the video of all the police cars at the Miami Mall and they made a big deal about it, intuitively, I didn't get that, oh shit, something's going on. I got more of like, it feels the same way that if they were to do a big blockbuster fucking movie, like set. Felt like just bring all the fucking cops there, have all the lights on, have some weird things. I mean, you know, there's that one account, which I think was the only one that I've seen that actually the guy was there with his family and like gives this account and says that it looked like these beings, but they were like they were glitching. Right. Like, so, okay. So you throw in some new age. I mean, you were bringing it up with Tupac at Coachella when they fucking brought his hologram up. And back then I remember, I mean, I was in this community back then. I remember being like, oh, this is what they're fucking, they're preparing people for. Yeah. And so you just can imagine just in there, just fucking like pop, pop, pop. And then, oh shit. Maybe the Wi-Fi was bad. I don't know. But that's where it's like, I intuitively don't feel like, oh, there's some real fucking aliens in there. Yeah. And I've been seeing a lot of people trying to kind of take advantage of it and be like, oh yeah, there's aliens. There's aliens. They're here. Yeah. They're here. They're here. They're here. And I just have I have an alien series I did back in 2014 that I'm going to release publicly. It was always on my first app 10 years ago, because I always said that aliens are not physical beings. They're from another frequency, another realm, another dimension. And it's not something that you physically deal with. It's not like you're going to shake hands with an alien. If anything, your ex is probably the most closest to an alien in life than anything. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, I mean, think about it. If we just use common sense now, first of all, now all of a sudden, an election year, you know, now so conveniently, but I think they're wanting to paint it out. They're trying to scare everybody into thinking that all aliens are bad. The extraterrestrial races are no different than us. There's good humans, there's bad humans. There's good ETs, there's bad ETs of all different races. In even the bad ones, even the evil ones, if they wanted to wipe us out, they could have done it a long time ago. You think they're going to come, like, take over us now? They're going to come wipe us out now in 2024 when Donald Trump's trying to run for president and all this shit about the Epstein list is coming out, oh, so conveniently. And, like, come on now. Common sense, I would think, you know?
So that's a good point, because if you think about all those events happening, or all the war stuff, and then all the Americans getting involved in shooting the Houthis. Just even yesterday, they shot down 18 more drones and 4 more ballistic missiles and all this shit. Like, and then the Secretary of Defense, of the first time in history since we've had a Pentagon, we used to have the Department of War, but that the top part of the military, right, that besides the president, was in surgery for 4 days and didn't tell anybody. So there was nobody at the helm of our military for 4 days. Yeah. This is all stuff to make you wake up. Yeah. That's how I keep looking at it. I'm like, okay, like what? That's not that surprising to me. The only surprising thing to me on the Epstein list was the Stephen Hawking fucking midget fucking thing. I just like, I can't think of that in my head. I know that I'm going to drop it after this, but it's just, you saw I was on the floor, dead. I'm laughing.
Yeah.
I cannot, I've cried 3 days straight over this whole thing. Cause it's just, to me, I mean, some people think it's horrible, but at the same time, to me, it's just hilarious. Like, what the fuck is a guy who fucking can't even move and fucking talk or anything? Like, if that, I think they're trying to expose is, like you said, there's bad ETs, there's good ETs, there's bad humans that go to Epstein Island, even if they're in a fucking wheelchair and they can't talk, and supposedly they're the smartest person on the fucking world. They're obviously not so fucking smart to be able to go to that fucking island. And I'm like, they'll do anything to fucking entrap you at that island.
Yeah.
Like, you know, oh, you're Stephen Hawking, you can't move. You want midgets up on a fucking thing with a chalkboard to do fucking weird puzzles? That's what's going to get you off, no problem.
Yeah.
Like, if that hasn't woken you up already, that means anything's possible with the dark side of humans. But I feel that when we think of like the dark ETs and the dark humans, that's what COVID was. That's what 2020 was. 2020 was the darkest exposed. And if you're still not on that, I would say that's where that awakening experience can be, that dark night of the soul that's coming, you know?
Yeah.
And that, again, that's not a negative thing. That's what happens when you go through the dark night of the soul. It fucking sucks, but it does help you go, because you're shedding off that dark entity that's got you in the matrix, or the dark frequencies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think that's what's so interesting is, you're right. The election year, or even the fact that they're trying to take Trump off the ballot, right?
Yeah.
And then they're using crazy, non-logical, non-constitutional understandings of the law. And they're trying to persuade everybody. It's like if somebody's trying to persuade you 24/7, like the election's as secure as the border. You know what I mean? Like, that's a good joke going around right now. But it's like, when they have to convince you that the election was good so much.
Yeah.
It's just like somebody who's cheating on you having to say, I didn't cheat. I swear I'm not cheating. If they have to say it out of nowhere.
Yeah.
They're cheating. Like, that's always like the number one thing. Like, a liar is going to say the lie constantly. You know what I mean? They're going to constantly be like, you know, oh, by the way, how's your dinner? I'm not cheating. You know what I mean? Like, okay, like that's basically, my God, COVID's real. My God, the shots are safe. My God, fucking Epstein's Island's chill. Like, you know, oh my God, oh no, yeah, the aliens are here.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what's hard is, you know, Project Bluebeam goes back 3 decades about that whistleblower came out about that project, and them actually in those facilities having the holographic projections of ships to beam to the sky in Arizona. Like, that's where they were going to do it, which I think is kind of interesting with all the border stuff going on, and even like what's happening with migrant camps in Arizona, or even, you know, we're going to be in Texas fucking where this solar eclipse is going to happen. And that X spot, we just saw a big launch to the moon for the first time since the Apollo missions. And they put dead human remains in there.
What?
And the Navajo tribe said, you can't do that. That's desecration to the moon. They look at it as sacred. Of course, they launched it anyways. And the first day, the fucking robotic fucking lander broke. So it's not going to land on the moon to put those remains on. Right? And I think that it's weird that, you know, that's all from Texas where the eclipse is going. And so there's obviously something going on. And then if you look at Miami, there was something about the weather too. I don't know if you saw the fucking tornadoes that have been going through fucking Florida and shit.
Tornadoes? No.
Tornadoes with all these fucking electricity shit. I've never seen shit like it before in my life.
I didn't see that.
So I think there's the other part of it where there is the phenomenon of all these really random events all kind of slamming into each other at the same time. That is part of the divine matrix that we live in, you know?
That's one of the ways that Gaia is transmuting the negative energy and shedding it. They said one of the biggest ways that you'll know that a lot of evil is being purged off the planet is a lot of volcanic eruptions. Because that's one of the surefire ways to see that Gaia is shedding old transmuting energy and releasing evil off the planet. You'll start seeing natural disasters and volcanic eruptions and shit like that. And right now, man, it's just getting so crazy right now. I like that. I think we talked about this in that one episode. That matter of fact, Sophia posted it, where that guy said that, you know, humans are not meant to see everything that's happening everywhere, every disaster and every murder and every war and we're not our brains aren't even meant to be able to take all that in at the same time. There's no and it's
somebody in Africa in the tribe is not experiencing that.
Yeah, it's just so crazy right now that if you try to follow it all, you will go absolutely insane, you know?
I mean, I think that's why if you think about how they've put us all into cities and just thrown as many people in there, because you and I've said before, you go through America, you go through most of the world, it's fucking just open land. It's just like, why are we all congregating in these little cities like beehives, like, you know, like we're insects? And I think, yeah, like we're not supposed to get all this fucking forced kind of, it's very pushed down your throat too. The murders, the fucking be afraid of this, be afraid of that. And that's what I think, that's what's difficult, is because then if you think, you just brought up, it felt like it's been slow, but if you were to like take somebody who's maybe not awake right now, from the COVID stuff to, you know, them believing in January 6th to, you know, you go on down this whole rabbit hole the last 4 years, and to them, it's like the fucking whole universe has fucking shut down or something.
Yeah.
And so, you know, but that's what's interesting. I think if you're awake, it doesn't matter what the fuck it is. I don't care if I don't care if it's real or Project Blue Meme. If they throw 1,000 shippos over my house and they fucking put projector, holographic, 5G fucking aliens to my house, I'm going to be fucking laughing still.
I'd be running outside. I don't know about anybody else, but if I see a ship, I'm going out being like, yo,
yeah,
what's up, dude? You know, I wouldn't run from that shit. I wouldn't be scared. If I saw a creature walking, I'm walking up to it. I don't know where people would get the knee-jerk reaction to like take off and run and hide.
Well, if you remember Independence Day, the movie, and then in LA, they had all that party that was at the top of the fucking US Bank building, and she was one of the strippers, you know, and she's like, I'm going up to and they held the signs, yeah, we're here. And they had that like little fucking, looked like a sex party, fucking at the top of the fucking US Bank building. And then that's the first fucking place that the fucking beam goes down, blows up the building, you know? So it's like they've ingrained that. And a lot of this is programming.
Yeah, predictive programming.
Right? So like, I'm just like you. I'd run outside. If they told me to shut my doors and don't go inside, there's aliens outside. That's so biblical, of like the idea of the Holy Ghost coming through, and you need to sacrifice a lamb and put the blood of a lamb over your fucking door, right? That's the same shit. So people are going to do that again. Like, don't go outside. There's aliens. Don't look in your mirror. Don't look in the fucking, you could see the reflection of it. And it's like, no, you're probably on some good ecstasy or something. I don't know. Or some good fucking weed. I don't know. But fucking people need to really, I think, tap into their intuition, because if it feels real, it's an automatic holy shit, like a holy shit moment in life. When it feels off, like COVID felt off, like this feels off, you know, no. But I know it wasn't off with the Stephen Hawking thing, because I am laughing so hard, because I'm like, Jesus, like, of course that's like everybody's all worried about Prince Andrew and all that shit. I'm like, if Stephen Hawking, how did somebody had to, well, I guess he had an electric wheelchair.
Yeah.
So I guess he could roll himself onto the plane. But I don't know how he got through the sand. They probably had you know, like 2x4s and shit and fucking some planks for him. But you know, I was like, it's so fucking, all that's happened just right now, and we're at just the first 2 weeks, and this new moon happening and Pluto coming into Aquarius in a week. It's fucking gonna be
and not
off.
only this is happening everywhere and in all areas and aspects of society, period. Did you see fucking Cat Williams?
I did. I saw it.
Dude, Cat Williams came out and he's fucking exposing everybody in the rap industry. And like I said, I'm a very, very firm believer And in the beginning, I was a little bit skeptical, but now I am a very, very firm believer that the overwhelming majority of this shit was all taken care of a long time ago. I'm a very firm believer in that. Could I be wrong? I could be, but there has to be some reason why everybody feels so safe coming out and saying these things. Where if you watched like an interview from Cat Williams like 7 or 8 years ago, where he kind of mentioned, yeah, the Illuminati, I respect them, but I'm not going to join them. And that's all I'm going to say about that. And he sounded very nervous and kind of afraid. And now he's just blurting it out there, telling everybody's business. And, you know, everybody feels so safe just coming out and saying all these things now. I think it's because it was all taken care of a long time ago. And 2024 is the year of exposure. Even Cat Williams said that everybody's going to be exposed. All eyes will be exposed in 2024. And I feel that shit. I seriously believe that he's working with the white hats. I seriously believe that.
Well, you know why? When you actually think about it, he's got conviction, but he's also got the humor with it, like laughing at him. Like, how could Chris Tucker, how could these other people give themselves away? Because that was his whole, everybody, you could take all the like serious shit of him accusing Chris Tucker of being on the island. We got Epstein Tucker, you know, that's the guy we got that guy. Especially with all the Friday films and shit like that, and how he changed, and how why didn't they pick like Snoop Dogg or somebody who Chris Tucker was never associated with weed, you know? But because the deals he made or whatever that he made, right? But the main thing was that Cat Williams was saying, like, I didn't compromise myself.
Yeah.
That's what I loved about it, is like, you don't have to. I think that's been the illusion. You made a great post the other day of showing how people are so obsessed with fame now, and I want to be an Instagram or a Twitter or TikTok now. It just keeps going down another rabbit hole of another platform, or whatever. And you know what? People will sell themselves if they really are just wanting it for that in their life. Yeah. But if it's about conviction in yourself, you know that there's more power with you saying no to something that is not good for yourself, not good for humanity, not good for others. And that's where, I feel like the way that you brought up the volcanoes, that's the thing of that energy of like a frequency purge. I mean, it's kind of weird because they used programming of a purge too. But I think we have to look at it from it spiritually. It's like, if you're not holding a higher vibration, that low vibration is not going to survive in this solar system and this universe. That's what we're seeing in the galactic shift. That's what we're seeing in all the protons and all the fucking light particles that they're finding all over the photon belt. Like, everything's raising in vibration. So if you're going to sit in that low vibe, you're not going to make it through. What I thought was interesting in my class last week and this week, like, the John Dee and all the guys in the 1500s, when they were looking and scrying into the future, the actual obsidian that was used for the glass was actually from volcanoes from the Aztecs from Mexico that got brought all the way over to England. And so when you brought up the volcano thing, and I've been thinking about CERN a lot. Because if there is anything that I would say is real, that they could be really bending the frequency shit, because that's what they're actually doing, is fucking bending protons, bending fucking time, is CERN, And the 70-year anniversary is in the next like week and a half. They came up with this idea in 1954. Took like 20 years until they started, and then guess where the internet started? CERN. Oh, like the first computer to have the IP address and all that shit, which ironically was connected to not Bill Gates actually, but Steve Jobs when he got fired from Apple and started a computer company called Next. The Next computer was what started that internet, and CERN is actually where the internet started. And I started thinking, the World Wide Web, and it's connected to CERN. How much of the World Wide Web is the holographic universe of how it affects people? Especially, I think there's a lot of like, when we hear dark web, that's usually the light web. That's usually where you find the truth, right? And then when you hear like, oh no, this is safe and the perfect website now, and now the fucking FCC has taken over the internet, which is the crazy thing in America. And even the FCC themselves said that this is unconstitutional and they don't want it, but it got jammed down their throats in the last 2 months, right?
That's a good sign.
That's a good sign too, right? They put it out there. It's public. You can go look it up right now. And then FCC fucking blah, blah, blah. That's where I've been thinking of some crazy shit, is like the volcano shit that's happening way up there in Iceland again. And CERN's up there and by Geneva. And like, I'm like, are they trying to fucking, based off what I see in all the old drawings of all the esoteric stuff, they have the same pictures, portal look and everything. And then I've been using AI to scry in my class. Scry into the future. Like use the old understandings of scrying and using the AI as a crystal ball. It has algorithms already of understanding astrology and so forth. And then using the work that we've done and implementing it in there. And it's been showing us the same thing as like parallel universe, parallel worlds. And it's been mind blowing.
Yeah.
It's been mind blowing. I mean, it's a fucking awesome school because we're actually doing that work and then recording it for history so people know what happened during this time. Because, you know, the Mandela effect, right? Mm-hmm. That one's been getting even weirder and weirder and weirder. Mm-hmm. Like Natalie was on here when I did my New Year's special event, and she was talking about Fruit of the Looms and how they're saying, no, we never used to have the cornucopia.
Yeah. No.
Right. And then, and like somebody's selling a cornucopia of Fruit of the Looms because that means the trademark's not there. So they could go sell it because they want Fruit of the Looms to sue them to admit that it was there, to see who, if they're fucking with us or if we really have moved into a new parallel world. Is that fucking crazy?
Oh, wow.
That's fucking crazy.
Okay. I was going to say, because there's some, I look at some of them like, matter of fact, I was just talking to Leah yesterday about it. Like, you know, some people say that Jif peanut butter used to be Jiffy. I don't remember that. And I remember Jif.
I remember Jiffy.
Do you? Uh-huh. See, I don't. I remember Jif, but there was a fucking cornucopia on the goddamn Fruit of the Loom. I remember that very specifically. And J.C. Penney did not have a fucking E. It wasn't Penney.
Oh, that's right. No way. It was with a Y.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's going wild. I've been hearing, but man, well, we talked about this before, where it just seems like every time you mention that fucking Mandela effect, the Matrix attacks you viciously every time.
All the Sentinels come.
Oh man, they attack you like crazy, man. But I mean, to me now, it's kind of cool. I kind of like it whenever, you know, a little dimension slips or something like that, you know?
Well, and that's why I loved Matrix 4, and some people still haven't seen it, which blows my mind if you're a Matrix person. Matrix 4 was so great because he had to take the red pill again. And I think we're all at that place again. Like, you might be awake.
Yeah.
But when they shift the Matrix, you got to take the red pill again. And I feel like, you know, that's been the test we've been seeing over these last 3 years is like, you might be awake, but man, I've seen, and there was another tarot person over the last week who converted to Catholicism, and unfortunately, I'm gonna, you know, I anybody in their religious belief, I'm down for. But when you're a tarot person, and then you're saying now everybody who does tarot is evil, and he was just selling. People in the comments are like, you just sold your tarot book workshop thing just a day ago, and now you're doing this, right? So the guy knew. And then now his whole house is filled with crosses, right? So like, and I laughed. I put as one of the comments like,
clout chaser.
He went out and fucking bought all the city's fucking worth of crosses that he could find. But it was even weirder too because I'm like, he was talking about the Epiphany in Christianity, which of course is with the three wise men and so forth. And I'm like, oh, so you're talking about the astrologers, you know, that fucking, right? Like,
let me ask you this: how did he have a decent, successful channel for tarot?
I mean, he had from Instagram where the video is, he had like 32,000 people. So I'm assuming, I don't know, I had never seen him, but a lot of people tagged me in it because they're like, how do you keep calling it out that this is going to be nonstop?
Well, I'm just saying, because like I've said, still when I have my little morning routine, when I wake up in the morning, I prefer to wake up anywhere between 5 and 5:30 a.m. And my wake up routine, I like to wake up about 2 hours to get my brain fired up, and I'll scroll through the YouTube Shorts feed. That's what I like to do first thing in the morning, is scroll through YouTube Shorts. And they keep trying to shove Christianity down my throat. And I click do not recommend channel. Do not recommend channel. No dissing the Christians.
Right.
You do what you do. It's just that, you know, my understanding, I don't want to be funneled down anything that has a narrow view. I don't care what the religion is. All religions have truth. I respect them all, but I don't want any one, little narrow view of this is the only truth, So anything that's trying to shove any kind of religion in my face, I click do not recommend channel. And they just will not stop. Usually if there's one particular niche that, keeps getting thrown at you, if the algorithm senses that you keep saying do not recommend this, it'll go away and you won't see it. I program my algorithms very specifically. But the point that I'm getting at is that Christianity is becoming like this big thing on the internet now. Yeah. It's becoming really big. So I'm wondering possibly if whoever this is you're talking about maybe was kind of failing in the tarot scene and was like, you know what? That Christian shit's popping off real big. Let me jump on that. I wonder. To just go from one to the other like that?
I mean, but that's where the idea of like a parallel world is coming in, is like in Matrix 4, after Neo resets the Matrix in the third one, the fourth one is they fucking embedded him back in the Matrix without him knowing it, and actually made the whole Matrix movies that we all watched a video game, that he's the controller of the Matrix video game and actually makes the Matrix, and the whole story is based off him, but he doesn't look the same. They put like a holographic shit, so where he sees himself as looking like Keanu Reeves, but the world sees him as this old, bald, white dude with like white fucking hair and shit.
Okay.
And it's also kind of like a past life thing to get back to Trinity, and the whole Matrix is based off the friction of Trinity and Neo, who they set in the pod so close, but they can't get close to each other to have love. And that creates a world of panic and fear, and that drives more energy. And so the new architect is fucking stoked because he revived them as humans, put them in pods, and put them through a million fucking experiments to see, when they touch though and they have love, that blows the Matrix up, right? But fucking no, if I create a world, we double the output of the energy, more people are submitted and they don't want a red pill out because they're fucking so lost in the Matrix of fear and all that. I love the Matrix 4 was like the ultimate pop off. I was like, thank God. But it describes what we're going through right now so well. Like, you have to take the red pill again. I don't care how awake you are, because that's why I brought up that tarot guy, because you see people, I've been awake, and then out of nowhere, it's like, what the last 4 years have been is like, let's just shift this parallel world, and really a mandala effect in every way. To where now it looks like, you know what, if I don't fucking pray to Christ, I'm going to hell and I'm going to die in hell. Right? I can't believe I'm doing tarot. Like, oh my God. Right?
Yeah.
And how it's, especially as an astrologer, the astrology is on the exact transit 500 years ago that brought out the heresy laws and made people feel that same kind of energy, and they were all wrong, including the Pope. Or even the Pope wanting to now maybe resign like the last Pope, which would never be done in history. 2 in a row. We've already are the first people to see a Pope resign in fucking 400 plus years. To see 2 resign? So there's something going on with the church anyway. I wouldn't trust that fucking place with anything fucking with all what's going on. But that's what's interesting, is that you have to take the red pill again. And I think that's what we're at right now, is like, because you know what, you people that might not hear this from other people or us or whatever, they're going to fucking fall for this Project Bluebeam. They're going to fall for these and it's going to look different than in the 90s, in which they were saying it was going to be like, some ships up a fucking, no, they've got that shit. Like Leah was telling me fucking that she talked to a channel and like fucking they put fucking holographic shit in all those 5G towers, and they're small now, and it makes sense because I know with LED technology and laser, fucking you could get a holographic fucking energy in here and put a fucking movie in a 3D, or think of the Vision Pro that Apple's bringing out this month, right? You're going to be in VR and be able to be with OLED lenses and fucking be able to see fucking crisper than ever and feel like you're watching a fucking 300 to 200 inch fucking screen movie theater in your fucking face. But really, the irony is you're watching it on lenses that are this big, you know what I mean? But it feels much bigger. So if they're already at that place, imagine them doing that to the reality.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you know what though, if anything, because I think some of the hardest people to wake up are going to be the religious people. But how do you do that? How do you get them to wake up? I think there's one thing that most religious people have in common. They don't believe in extraterrestrials. They think that God created the earth and humans, and that's it. Of all the fucking universe, it's just us. So if anything, if there could be something good out of the aliens scaring people, what about like the Christians and the Muslims and whatnot when they start seeing aliens walking around? Maybe, do you think that'll get them questioning? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I would hope so. I mean, all they have to do is look at their own books and Bible and, Quran to go, well, all these people were speaking in tongues and fucking channeling. And they just need to go look at Egypt or the Mayan culture, or go look at some hieroglyphics and see all these fucking weird fucking beings and all that shit in there. It's enough to make you question. And maybe that's what's weird about society is like, are we at that place where we jump timelines? Because to me, when I see Mayan hieroglyphics or I see Egyptian hieroglyphics, they have ships.
Yeah.
And with like bigger entities in them.
Yeah.
But to me, they're speaking in holograms. What do you think everybody's doing using an emoji now? Or how on AI you can make pictures now. We're speaking in, people don't realize with emojis, you're speaking in holographic, right? And hieroglyphics. Like, that's what's crazy. So what if that's the signal that the timeline shifts? Because I feel like there isn't some event where all the aliens come and then the whole, I just feel like that's like a trigger of like, okay, timeline shifting. So, the Egyptians could be right now just exactly where they're at in the same, but it's all frequency based, right?
Yeah.
You can go to Egypt and feel like, oh, it looks like ruins and everybody's taking all the fucking shit and all the fucking out, right? But they're all living there right now in another timeline, fucking, and it's beautiful and whatever.
Yeah.
Right? That's where I'm like more on. And that's why I would never lose myself to some book that, number one, preaches anybody. I love Billy Carson's videos on it. It's
yes.
like, I mean, so much of the Bible is like non-believers must be killed.
Yeah.
They're obsessed with, but save the virgin women and we get to take them.
Yep.
Like all this stuff that today in this woke society, especially, that fucking people are like, you can't do this, you can't do that. The Bible and all the fucking religious texts are exactly the opposite of what you would even praise. But that's the irony, is you see people that are woke that are so into these religions that they fucking will go do the craziest things. It's the number one killer of all people. It's the number one murdering element is off holy wars. I mean, we're seeing it now again, another holy war, right? So, I feel like that's where, maybe they're trying to use the alien thing to get things off, like Reagan said in '88 at the UN, just like, okay, well, maybe it'll take an alien invasion to bring us all together as a society.
Yeah.
And I think what's scary about that is, it might look good like 9/11, like, yeah, let's do this whole idea of fucking a homeland security and get rid of all of our rights and all this shit. It's the same thing, but on a bigger power play. And the fact that people are, I love things like the internet, TikTok, but there's the double side of that where, gosh, man, people fuel things just to get attention now.
Yeah.
And we'll say something's real and we'll buy into the fear. And that's what I'm concerned with is I don't believe in censorship, but I believe in, you got to be a voice on the other side of reason and to talk these things out. Most of these people don't have the courage to talk. They think they're talking on a phone for a minute and putting up some little graphics and convince people instead of having a natural talk about it. I think that's why this show's great,
Yeah. Well, and here's another idea that I like to play with too. Like, well, you mentioned it earlier when you said that, the real ETs are actually interdimensional beings. So they vibrate at a higher level. In order for them to come down here and physically interact with us, it takes a lot of energy for them to drop in frequency so that we can see them.
Right.
So we have to raise frequency to see them. And we're so stuck in this vibration that we're in. I mean, even those of us who are awake, like me and you, and we're open to ideas like this, that's still so out of our paradigm that it's difficult to really fully wrap our understanding all the way around it fully. So the idea of them bringing it out and showing it and showing videos of it and maybe even us seeing a ship up in the sky will at least open our understanding to where, you know, by default, we'll raise vibration and raise our understanding and our consciousness to where we can get closer to actually seeing the real ETs. Does that make sense?
Of course. And I feel that, you know, I think people are putting too much effort maybe into try to reach out, like go there, more than just allowing it to naturally happen when you're raising your own frequency. Then it happens. I don't think that when you go looking for something, it shows up. I don't think when you start chasing anything in life, especially in just going back to the basics of manifestation, you don't chase to manifest. Mm-hmm. So the idea to go chase a frequency or even an alien species to try and chase us in a lower frequency doesn't make sense to manifest either.
Yeah.
That to me is kind of like the irony is you're seeing people trying to chase this shit. And even just like the fucking new Artemis mission trying to chase the moon, which we all know, either A, there's stuff on the moon that's why they put the fake info out about the moon landing, because they really landed and they don't want to show. And that's more what I believe than they just didn't make it.
I've seen it.
You know, I'm glad that, you know, because to me, it's more like they're up there, they're doing weirder shit and that they're hiding shit. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's where I'm like, and the weird shit with all the fucking UFO, all the UFO shits, all the dark fucking money in the fucking government that fucking has been funding and being a second entity government that's fucking got its own weird shit, or all the tunnels that keep being found, and how much is under everything in life is always under the frequency or under the ground or under the surface of what you can see, just as much as on the other side is above too.
Speaking of which, here's something kind of weird. Remember the earthquake that happened a few days ago?
Yeah. Well, I slept through that one.
Well, yeah, we were driving, so we didn't really feel it, but we noticed something weird. And Leah says she's never seen this happen, and she's born and raised here. But they put out a warning.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Is that normal?
No, it's not normal.
I didn't think so. What I'm thinking is they're probably blowing up some underground tunnels. And that's why they're putting up a warning for the next few days that you might feel the earth shaking because they're down there blowing shit up.
Or those fucking massive waves we had here. I've lived here my whole life. Fucking 36-foot waves, or for the ocean to come in Ventura and just fucking go all the way into the streets, like by the fucking streetlights, like blocks up.
They're blowing shit up underground.
Right? Something was going on. And then there was an earthquake in Japan right before that. The day before was that 7.5 in Japan, then they had a tsunami warning for over there, but they didn't do it here. And it's weird because the astrology is the same of Jupiter and Uranus in the same sign as 2011 when Fukushima happened. But this time it was like a fucking wave did come over here. Mm-hmm. But I also think there's a lot of speculation that there's actually, whether it's Russian subs or there's stuff going on outside in the fucking ocean on both sides, right? And fucking, I mean, we used to test atom bombs in the ocean.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like something's going on where there's all this shit happening and they just act like, no, just keep watching your fucking bullshit. Keep watching your fake everything. Keep watching all these things that are all just distractions from people to wake up and see with their own eyes. So, I mean, I can understand how somebody might be like, well, if you're willing to say like, oh, that's fucking, you're now going into conspiracy because the wave came up the same way that maybe somebody did see an alien in fucking Miami. It's like, well, I saw the physical water fucking came up and touched people. I don't hear anybody being touched by a fucking angel or an alien.
Touched by an alien. No. It's just so interesting and obvious. I think what they're doing, because they're trying to shut the media down. So if you look at the way this whole psyop and everything has been working, if you pay attention and you look and you've paid real close attention and observed over the last 4 years, people are trusting the media less and less and less, and they're turning to people like us. So they're putting it out there And like you said, the media didn't cover the fucking Miami thing. So they're putting it out there in such a way that it's all over the internet, but it's not on the media. And, you know, they're trying to trigger people to start thinking like, okay, well, the media is not talking about it, but these people are, and they're trying to direct everybody's attention towards us. We're the news now. We are the media. Does that make sense?
Correct.
Yeah. So it's,
I mean, like, you would think they would show the president, and you don't see the president ever, except for in these weird halls with like American flags that look weird and like him saying weird shit. Or tonight on CNN is the debate of Nikki Haley and fucking Ron DeSantis. That's how you know that's some psyop shit. Don't go into that, right? Like, that's not where it is. They don't have Vivek up there. They don't have fucking Trump. Like, you know, like they just are doing those two, and those two have sold themselves out. You can tell. And that's who they're trying to push. They're trying to get Democrats to like those two, right? And funnel in a fucking Trojan horse that way and look like a Republican, but really be fucking, oh no, push the wars and push all that shit. To me, that's alien shit. To me, aliens are entities that take over human bodies. Mm-hmm. That's what an alien is. To me, it's like, it's pretty easy to see a reptilian took over that and a reptilian took over that. Or light workers, we have, you know, whether you want to say you're walking or whatever, that's the irony of the whole thing is anything that's an alien that you think is some physical thing is something that Stephen Hawking made up while he was watching midgets. Let's not forget that he's part of the whole idea of a lot of this stuff too, because he was an astrophysicist. He was somebody who was like about black holes to, of course, black holes. But forget, like that's what he was. Yeah. So we're gonna believe all the science from the guy who was fucking getting off on his keyboard, watching midgets fucking do chalkboard shit and God knows whatever fucking clothing or not clothing on Epstein Island. Like, he had a great warning for humanity that we were going to be taken over by aliens or a higher intelligent species. That was his last thing of what he said before he died.
Yeah. Well, I mean.
Well, and do you think you're going to believe the guy who's getting midget fucking Epstein midgets? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's, if you think about it, I mean, and again, this is probably something that somebody who's not awake doesn't even understand, but that goes against universal law for either of the alien, whether it's a good ET or a bad ET, to come in here and infringe on free will. Yeah. That's against universal law. The only way to change this game is for the ETs to incarnate in it. You have to incarnate as a human. So that's the only way. That's the only way this battle is being fought, is that the ETs are among us.
Yeah.
I'm one.
Right.
You know, you have to come in and incarnate as a human to make a change from within.
Right.
And use your free will. But I mean, you know, you can get lost in this game, but yeah, so that totally goes against universal law anyway, you know?
Exactly. Well, and I think, I mean, this kind of goes off. We talked a little bit, well, we talked about it a lot on the last episode for the splitting of the earth episode, but it's like, you know, it's coming out. It's not scientifically fully verified, but it's in, you know, it's about to be, it's in pre-publishing for journals that they're finding out in the vaccinated that the 2-strand helix DNA has created a 3rd strand. Then there's the queen right before she died. She pushed that fucking button and the 3 strands of DNA fucking came out, right? So that would be how they could literally say non-human entities are here, right? Yeah. When you have over half the population that is now technically non-terrestrial. Wouldn't be extraterrestrial because they're terrestrial, but they're from it anymore because they've been genetically altered. Yeah. And then that's where there was the Supreme Court, you know, rulings that were in 2013 about people that took these genetic altercations that would not be classified as human. And again, I'm not trying to belittle people because if anything, we're trying to be on the side with you all. Like I consider people still a human who took it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But like it's the weird laws and the weird things that they're doing. Then you add the CERN shit, the weird weather, the weird situations that makes people in a Christian religion or anything think it's the rapture and here's the revelations here. which again, the astrology is at this time where it's supposed to feel weird. It's Pluto coming into Aquarius. It's Uranian energy with Pluto. It's going to feel weird. And what is Uranus? The god of the air, the god of the weather, and all the fucking crazy shit that happens, and electric storms and technology. And when you're dealing with all this technology, you're dealing with all this fucking weird fucking genetic shit. And then you're mixing in fucking these secret government programs that aren't so secret if you've been paying attention, but they're popping their heads all up at the same time because they're being exposed. There's anything that's been bad for humanity is being exposed. Of course, it's going to look like it's endgame, but really what it is it's endgame for the dark. It's endgame for them.
Yeah.
And people are taking that, and that's what the dark does, right? If they're going to go down a hole, they want to grab as many people with them that are happy or positive or in a good vibe with them because they want a little morsel right before they get down that hole.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they are not going to give up without a fight. They're not. So anybody out there that thinks that, you know, at some point the dark side is just going to say, okay, we surrender, that is not going to happen. I mean, when we're talking the dark side, these people have been in control for thousands of years. Their tentacles are in every fucking thing. So it's not just as easy as, you know, take out a few people and boom, the dark's gone. No. There are still, I mean, yes, a lot of the evil has been eradicated from the planet, a whole lot.
Yeah.
Enough to where, you know, people can freely say whatever they want on the media now and call out whoever they want. But there are still little minions running around throwing haymakers, causing as much fucking damage as they can on the way out. I like the way David Rodriguez, I think his name is. He said it like he was a boxer.
Yeah.
You know, whenever a dude is about to lose, he's beaten up and he's just gonna start throwing haymakers. Just start throwing haymakers, you know, and that's when they're dangerous. So you just kind of got to get out of the way because that's what they're doing on the way out, and they're gonna go out swinging until the last one of them is fucking gone. So, yeah.
Well, because I mean, that idea too, the haymakers is let them exert that last energy because that's their last. They're actually doing worse because they're using too much energy at one time to try and win. And that's really going to be their downfall. That's how Goliath falls, you know, it's like Achilles' heel too. Like, you know, like it's like that's what happens. Like you learn in sports too, like you might be down, but you have to reserve some energy and you have to be a calm mind too. And that's where I think the problem is. You're seeing so many mental health problems. A lot of it, of course, is because people are concerned and worried, and that's what the program has been feeding to people. They want you to feel like there's nothing on the other side except chaos. And even though also as an astrologer, to remember it's about learning to embrace chaos to find order within yourself. Like you have to learn to embrace it. If anything, you know, it's just like a roller coaster. Just embrace the roller coaster. But that's where I feel it's a hard time because they want people to start throwing haymakers about the tough things we've seen with monetary systems to being locked down when they made the choice themselves. Like if I was in Australia or any place, like I'm sorry, I would have fucking found a fucking, you know what I mean? Like I would have fucking, you know, I feel like I would have been in a movie. Maybe I would have fucking found an old fucking police uniform at some fucking place, bought it and wore it around and fucking gone wherever I wanted to fucking go.
Yeah.
I mean, most people just don't think that way though. Like, you know, like, what do you mean? People are so easy. It's like, so I hate to use like Star Wars, but so Jedi, right? It's just like, nah, these aren't the droids you're looking for. Yeah. These aren't the droids they're looking for. It's how you energetically, vibrationally act. If you're literally going to, especially if you're going to use Star Wars, like the rebellion is using high frequency energy and a high vibration energy to win. That whole movie is about what's high vibration and what's low vibration. The dark force is a dark force, literally, and use the force and use the light force. I mean, it's pretty simple, but everybody's choosing to go down that dark path. And it's just being served to you. If some fucking weird server came to me with some dark ass, gross fucking shit on a plate, I would just say, no, thank you. But so many people are like, well, because that is what everybody else is eating. You know, it's like if you go to a party, learn to be yourself. You don't have to do what everybody says. If they tell you they're getting on a fucking If Stephen Hawking is in the corner going, and you're like, what's he doing? And everybody's like, Stephen Hawking, he's such a badass fucking motherfucker. He's going to get on a jet with Epstein. I would laugh and be like, that seems like the worst time of all time. And I'm sorry, but I don't think Stephen Hawking looks like a good time.
Well, if they understood energy, behavior, and manifestation, they wouldn't be doing that. That's why it's so important for people to understand how their frequency affects their life experience. It all boils back to the same thing. I know I fucking keep beating that same drum over and over and over, but this right here is a prime example as to why it's so important. Because, you know, just people don't connect those dots. They don't make that correlation between how they feel most of the time and what they're experiencing in their life. They don't think that their life experiences and their emotions are connected. If anything, they got it backwards. They think that their life experiences are creating their emotions and that they need a new experience to happen to create a new emotion, when it's the other way around. The way you spend most of your time feeling is what is attracting this shit to you in your life. And it's this, and then that creates an emotion, and that creates another experience like it, and it turns into this hamster wheel type thing. And getting people to understand how that fucking works is what keeps me awake at night.
Yeah. Well, because it's hard, because I think you have to break yourself out of your own mini matrix, which is a big matrix, the system itself, like the 9 to 5, the school systems, like the way to do, which if I look at your past, or I look at my past, or I look at anybody else on the awakening experience early on, we all have a common theme of breaking away young and having some sort of confidence and tenacity to just say, fuck it, I'm going against the grain. And as a guy, we shave, you know, and we learn young, you shave with the fucking hair. It doesn't do that great. And they tell you, don't go against the grain.
Yeah.
Right? They always tell you that. Even when I was in boot camp, they're like, do not shave up against the grain. They'll get cuts and you'll get fucking bumps and all that shit. The only way I'm going to not get in trouble is I'm going to have to shave up against the grain because I grow fucking hair. You grow hair. Fucking some guys don't grow hair. I feel sorry for them. But fucking maybe too many hormone blockers. But fucking, you know, when you go way up against the grain of the matrix, you wake up because you have to go through a confident leap. You have to make a jump. And it's not just one moment. It's a long, it feels like a whole lifetime. Yeah. That moment of that in between and till you find your awakening experience and you go down your journey. And so that's what's hard, is trying to convince people that don't want to do that. You know, we talked on the last one, like you can manifest anything, or like I just showed you on ChatGPT, they just finally, just today for enterprise, for people that have businesses, the shit you can do right now that they just unlocked is crazy. But most people won't spend the $600 for the year because they think, oh, well, that's a fucking, I don't know. So that's my whole month out of going and drinking or something. Yeah, yeah. Right. So, but that $600, like we were already playing with just a fraction of what you can do right now. Yeah. We just made a video in a fucking millisecond. Yeah. And then you could be, it'll like, fuck, it's beyond mind blowing what you can do right now. That just came out. But people aren't going to use these things that are out there right now to make their life better and to go against the grain and do things. They're going to just wait till it becomes a fad. They're going to wait till Taylor Swift says it, I guess. That's the problem. That's the mentality of people. Same thing with my water ionizer that I use, my Conga machine. You know, I'll start posting about that on the internet, and every time people show up in the comments, well, not everybody has the money to buy a $5,000 water ionizer. You can give them a down payment and make payments on it if you want. I know. You would. I guarantee you're fucking making payments on a fucking $20,000 car. Yeah. Or on Amazon, you can do payments now, or Affirm or whatever. People are doing it on mattresses. They're doing it on everything. You can do it on my readings if you want. I know. You know, so you're going to go drop $5,000 down, you know, and pay $500 a month for a car, but you can't do it to improve your health. You know, like that's just the mentality of people. They don't understand that, you know, you have to invest first and then get the return later. If you're not willing to drop $1,000 on the table and pay $200 a month for something that can seriously improve your health, then maybe you don't deserve it. And I agree with that. Actually, I was on LinkedIn last night. I don't know if you're on LinkedIn much, but
No.
I am, just for my life, I guess, as a CEO of this business. But I love Patrick Bet-David, and he put this out, and I was like, damn, if people, maybe this is like a way, because I think he's a great guy. I love Valuetainment. I think it's a fucking badass network. But he says this, he goes, most people don't have an income problem. They have a spending problem. I know people who only make $90,000 a year and have more in saving and assets than somebody making $500,000. Change your relationship with money. Delay upgrading your lifestyle as long as you can. What he means by that is like, people that make money will go spend that money on just stupid shit all the time. But fucking, you could be not just saving some, but be putting that into things that matter instead of just your lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like the Coggin machine is a health thing, and everything from your teeth to fucking, I don't know. It kind of reminds me of like a fucking miracle cure for anything pretty much.
Cellular level. Yeah.
Cellular level, but even like, you know, somebody who might have acid reflux. Like that's like the number. I remember I was having acid reflux during my anxiety, and that's what got me into alkaline water at the beginning. It was like when somebody told me, just drink alkaline water. What are you doing? And fucking, I've never had it ever again. And I remember that it just took that little thing. And I remember people thought it was crazy because I would have it delivered to my house by Kagan water, like in the 5-gallon jugs. And then I had a thing just because that's another way you could do it too. There's actually companies that fucking have the machines that do it and deliver the 5 gallons to your house. But it's like $90 or whatever every fucking, you know, for 15 gallons. Yeah. But I only drink 15 gallons of water fucking in a month myself or whatever. So that $90 is not that much. But to some people, like, why would you spend $90 on that? Or why would you spend on that thing? And it's like right now, everything you and I were just saying right before the show, everything is out there right now for us all to make the coolest shit, to wake people up, to live your dream and your happy life and do it. But they just want you to wait for the rates to change. They want you to wait on the government to change the tax, or wait on this, or wait on that, or wait on this, or wait till the fucking make sure that you're only in this crypto and all that. When the government is starting to clear. And that was what happened. All these people bought Bitcoin because somebody got into the fucking official SEC fucking Twitter and fucking went into the back and said, we've approved the ETF, and everybody bought it. That's when you know, did somebody really do that, or did the fucking government do that? Of course, people don't realize the government wants people to go into crypto because that's keeping the money to where they'll have control with the mechanisms. So the money is not really leaving the federal fucking reserve. It's just moved into another asset that's still fiat currency. People are not paying attention to this moment, and again, looking as the savior as crypto again. And I think when you look at something as a savior other than your own manifestation and your creation, you know, then you're going to lose. You can be sucked into anything right now. And that's what's sad is, you know, like I know there's a lot of good case energy of blockchain, and especially Bitcoin itself, from it being DeFi. But when you think it's got to be on the internet, and the internet's now controlled by the FCC, and, you know, the new protocols of them wanting to have like an ID to even get on the internet, and your IP address. And if you try to use an IP blocker, or you use, like, that's the stuff they're trying to roll out here in these next years. Or whatever event, even this year with aliens or whatever. Like, you can't get on the internet because the aliens took over the internet. We need to make sure you're a human. Like, we're at that point where we're, any second, they're ready to just go, dit. And again, you don't have to be afraid of any of that. Live your life with whatever it is. The universe is here to provide, whether it's through fiat currency, whether it's your Bitcoins. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying, like, whatever it is, it will be there for you, however it's going to be. The universe is not going to fuck you. And I think that's what people have to start really, I think, ingraining in, instead of going against, going with the grain of being fucked. Because that's the problem. It's like, go against the grain, you're going to have a smoother shave. It's going to feel a lot nicer. But you go with the grain in this shit right now, it's still going to be a 5 o'clock shadow.
Everything is set up to entice you into failing. I mean, food. Look, you go to the
I
grocery
know.
store and you see two different items, and one is more expensive than the other. And if you look close enough, the one that's healthier for you is more expensive.
I know.
And that's set up because people with that broke mentality aren't going to say, well, I care about my health more than my money, so I'm going to buy the healthier item. You know, it's just, there's these little decisions that you can make at every turn where you don't, and like you said, people, oh, well, I want to wait till I have more money first. Once I can afford it. No. You got to start investing now. You think the universe is going to fuck you over and you're not going to get your light bill paid because you decided to eat healthy food?
Right.
Like,
the universe
I'm investing in
provide.
myself. I'm making the healthier option. I'm trusting that the universe is going to make sure I have what I need because I'm taking care of myself. People don't think that way, you know?
Well, and I think it's beyond even thinking. I think it's living in the vibrational energy, which that's the thing, is there is trust involved with that. And that's where people, gosh, they couldn't even trust their own bodies through COVID. So, I mean, like, to trust the universe it's pretty basic. If I'm in my right alignment and I'm wanting a healthier thing in my life, and I also want to be able to do something good for the world that also is pleasurable for my own self and creative and positive, but also helps others, is it crazy to think that the universe is going to open the doors and provide more doorways that are going to bring in the necessities in your life that you're going to need? I mean, that's the simple 101 of what we have. But what we have is what was happening at the beginning of when Stalin came in, or in Nazi Germany with communism and all that crazy socialism shit, is they actually put up 2 + 2 = 5. And they tried to say that, no, 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4. 5 means it's not only all of us, but there's this extra bit of how the communism and the togetherness of how we all do it adds this extra point. Which is so fucking, so they actually make people believe 2 + 2 = 5. And people are living in a world right now just like that. And you can look that up on the internet. It's fucking all over the place. The old Stalin 2 + 2 = 5 about, give up your life and go out there and do whatever we tell you to do as a job. And you're doing the right thing for the wheat and all that shit. And all the millions of people who died in the wheat fields fucking who believe that. This is not a time for people to start, I'm sorry, being a slave to a fucking system that obviously is trying to fuck you and tried to take away your job and tried to fucking denounce you if you went against the grain with COVID. You're going to still believe them. That's not equaling 4, that 2 + 2. That's still equaling 5. And what's happening right now all over the world is people are starting to actually believe that 2 + 2 = 5. Like, well, look at the weather. Look at this. So of course they're going to be a tarot reader that turns to fucking Catholicism. You know, because they're looking for a grab handle to find on the middle of the fucking rushing river of fucking Epstein's Island. And no, you should let go and go. You don't want to be stuck there. You don't even want to be on the list of that shit. So you should fucking float through that. You weren't there. But no, people are willing to, I don't know. They're looking for saviors. They're looking for, I want a savior. I want a savior. Like, I think Vivek said it best just on his campaign tour the other day. And it's hard to be, I like him because he's honest. He's like, this whole Trump thing could be a huge trap right now. Because if everybody votes for Trump and what's about to happen here in all the caucuses, then they fucking try to pull a fast one. Then who's going to be the nominee? Then it's going to go to the Republican Party and they're going to fucking pick the nominee the old school way with the delegates. And they're going to put up a fucking Chris Christie or a fucking whoever or Nikki Haley, because then the people don't have the choice. Then it's the delegates of the states at the fucking conference. And then it's going to be against whoever the fuck. That's probably going to happen with Biden. They're probably going to get him out. And now Michelle Obama's coming out and being like, oh my God, Trump's so scary. And then that makes people feel safe. Oh, I feel safe. Michelle Obama. Fucking, oh. So like right now, like, I love Trump, but at the same time, it's kind of like, fuck, that's like, Vivek's got everything and more, and fucking he's young and he knows how to use a computer. If we're going to be dealing with AI and weird shit, and there is weird anomalies happening, I'd rather have a young guy that fucking knows how to get on a computer and use a fucking phone instead of like looking at it like, that's the thing. We still have not had a fucking president that knows how to use a computer, like full blown, like could run programs quick, like go live stream, do any. We have never had a president knows how to use a computer yet.
Yeah.
That's scary to me. Especially in Pluto and Aquarius. But fucking, and especially, we should probably have somebody of our generation, because this old generation just took all the money from everybody, made Social Security, and kept that going from the fucking old days, and just want to pay themselves out fucking by being a slave to have 4 to 5 to 6 to 10 years of vacation life where you're not on vacation, and you probably do a reverse mortgage on your house and the government will take it after, so you don't have to make payments, and you take your little $3,000 a month max and fucking live off that and go on a cruise once in a while. And what was the first thing that the universe was trying to show you? Who got COVID first? The people on the cruises. Why? Not because they're in close quarters, because the universe is trying to show you that life, this is what I said back in 2020, right at the beginning as an astrologer. I said, that's a clear sign the universe is saying, it doesn't want people, that's not how humans should live either. Not only with all the shit you said earlier about how humans are getting fucking murders and all this crazy shit all the time, living your life to be a slave to then go on a fucking cruise ship and look out a little fucking window at the ocean is not a fucking salvation life or not a beautiful life. I'm sorry to say. That is fucking hell. You're on another fucking slave ship now. And you have to pay your money for your little lobster. That's probably weird. And the most sickness that people get on cruise ships is fucking Nova virus or whatever that shit is that fucking makes everybody throw up. Like fucking, and watch some horrible band of some people that fucking hate their job anyways. And they're just like, that was my last minute job, was to go on a cruise ship and fucking, you know what I mean? Like, cause I couldn't get a normal job that I really like to do anywhere. So I'm going to go be on a cruise ship. Like, really? We're going to go with that fucking generation still. We're going to go with that fucking, those people. And that's what scares me, is it feels like a trap with the Trump thing. Not for Trump, but just the dark force. It's the end of Pluto Capricorn during the fucking election. I'm not, you know, of course, if it came down to him and fucking whoever at the end, I'd pick Trump. But fucking right now, if I could, there is no caucus in California. So if I was in Iowa, or if I was in New Hampshire, if I was in Vermont, or if I was in fucking Maine, or if I was in anything, I'd be voting for Vivek. I would not be voting for any of these fucking other fucking people.
Yeah, well,
you know,
this year is going to blow everybody away anyway, because, you know, like I said, when it all comes down to it, United States Corporation is bankrupt. Did you see?
Right.
I posted that thing on Instagram. I don't know.
But that's why I like Vivek. He's going to fucking cut out 75% of the fucking federal government, all the employees. And he's even saying day one, anybody who has an odd number on their Social Security in the government, you lost your job.
Oh.
He's fucking, well, I'm like, there we go.
I don't know. I don't remember if I mentioned this in the last episode or not, but you remember that clip that I posted on Instagram where on the court documents, Maine presented to the court that they wanted to remove Trump from the ballot because he's already served 2 terms.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy.
He's still the commander in chief of the military and has been this whole time. And
right. So that's why maybe the whole Vivek thing is because he's going to be the guy, because Trump maybe can't go again. I don't know. I mean, because what's weird is he got impeached while he wasn't president. But that means he would have been president.
But the thing is, again, the United States Corporation is bankrupt. He's the commander in chief of the United States, the Republic. The constitutional republic of the United States. So the United States Corporation, you can only serve 2 4-year terms. That's for the United States Corporation, which is bankrupt. So this is the constitutional republic of the United States. I think that is going to make him the 19th president. So this would technically be his 2nd term of the president of the United States, the constitutional republic. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. I mean, yeah. I mean, I especially like him going to get the gold back.
Yeah.
All those things make sense for the idea of the bankrupt corporation, or even the Queen dying. Or the Queen loved him, right? Like they had a nice thing, and he walked in front of the Queen, which nobody ever does. Yeah. Which, you know, anybody could say we're talking in crazy land, but at the same time, it's kind of like there's if it's a synchronicity that keeps happening, like this has never happened before. Yeah. And it's with this one person doing something that's not been normal. Like nobody walks in front of the Queen, but Trump did. Yeah. She liked Trump. Or even the last time that they had a dinner in 2018 and all that stuff, like he fucking did this huge speech about what World War II was and all this crazy stuff about when all this shit was changing in the world. And Especially people don't realize it was the Civil War that we borrowed all the money from England. That Abraham Lincoln and all the fucking people in the Union, we borrowed all the fucking gold and all the money to fund the war, because that was the most expensive war in American history that created the beginnings of the ideas of, well, the banking crisis that came in 1887. And then, of course, fucking moving up into the Federal Reserve by 1913, that a lot of this all came from the Civil War and us borrowing from the English and fucking creating it to where we got to a fucking bad space. So that's just kind of the crazy part of it all, is like it looks like we're in a civil war right now with the way that the states are trying to take people off ballots and shit. But maybe if that theory is true, maybe Trump not being on the ballot for a failed U.S. corporate Colorado state doesn't matter. You know, they might be trying to like feed people choosing which side they're picking of America, which is weird because that's what the new Civil War movies like. They have a scene in the trailer where the guy's like, "What kind of American are you?" And they don't reveal that, but it could be like, are you a U.S. Corp American or are you a you know, like that could be part of it in the movie. I don't know. It comes out fucking during the eclipse energy. So I don't know, but that's where, you know, the Epstein thing kind of has been, as an astrologer, I've always said that when in 2017 he got arrested during the eclipse, that was the big total eclipse and only Trump looked at the sun, everybody else put their glasses on. I said, this is going to be all come down to Epstein. The DNA shit with his house in New Mexico and him, all the money he gave to all the Harvard scientists and everybody because he wanted to inject the whole world with his DNA and do all this fucking crazy thing and have women all have his DNA and have the children of the world with his DNA, which literally would be in the shot if you think about it, because it transfers right there. Like, oh yeah, if you get the COVID shot pregnant, then you give it to your baby, right? So maybe his little weird plan did work with that. Nobody wants to look into that. Every time I bring that one up, everybody fucking, no, I don't want to look into that. But the weird shit about all the fucking politicians and all the actors and everybody who sold themselves out and fucking got, and that's what's crazy is Megyn Kelly just said fucking last week, like you might be here. I can't say more, but you're going to be hearing from Epstein himself. Whether that's going to be from a tape or he's still alive.
He's probably still alive.
You know what I mean? Like something's...
Yeah. Nothing would surprise me.
Or even Julian Assange and WikiLeaks and all their shit. Like there's going to be WikiLeaks shit coming out like crazy. That's why he's being held in England with no charges in England, but America's the one that has the charge, but he's being kept there kind of in a safety spot.
Yeah.
Something's fucking...
I don't know. They're going to be throwing it at all angles. I don't think it's going to stop, because as soon as we think it's this, then it's going to be that. And all I know is that, you know, people that we think are alive are dead. People that we think are dead are alive. I don't think Michael Jackson's dead. I seriously question whether or not Tupac's dead. You know, like you were saying, we're going to have to take the red pill again.
Yeah.
I think that in the next couple of years, we're really going to seriously find out who is alive, who's dead, who's on this side, who's on that side. And I'm waiting to have my mind blown, because even now I'm still like, every time they pull a rabbit out of the hat, to me, it's so anticlimactic now. It's like, you know, whatever. Come on, surprise me with something. I want to see a big ass UFO go over the sky or some shit, you know?
Yeah. It's like we're sitting in the movie theater. It's just been previews.
Yeah.
Preview. But, you know, Cat Williams did call out fucking Michael Jackson with Chris Tucker, and said, who else calls fucking Christmas? Isn't that creepy? You know, and I've always thought Michael Jackson was creepy with Neverland and the kids and sleeping in the beds with them and all that shit. Fucking got plastic surgery to look like a fucking girl, and changed his color of his skin. And then when he got asked before he died, like, oh, you didn't get fucking your nose job and all that shit. He's like sitting there fucking powdered white, fucking with his weird fucking nose all chopped up. And he's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, oh my God. The children of the world. I would be creeped out if somebody, if my name was Chris and my buddy was Michael Jackson, he's like, Christmas, come over here. Oh God, that would be hell. That would be hell. I think I would have nightmares for the rest of my life. Like Christmas. Oh my God. Oh, I'm sure Chris Tucker gave him a nice Christmas gift.
No, it's going to keep coming though. It's going to keep on coming, and I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know, man. The only thing that I can think. I mean, I don't know. Do you have like a now? And this is kind of a touchy thing to talk about because I don't want to talk about being afraid. But is there any? Do you have? You mentioned earlier that you have kind of a something planned out in your mind, like if shit hits the fan.
Well, okay, yeah. I mean, so like I was in the military, right? So they teach you, one of the number one things they teach you is battle stations. In case, worst case scenario, you're in the military and a fucking war happens or a nuclear warhead gets shot off. The first thing you do is fucking battle stations, right? You drop everything and you run to your fucking duty station and you fucking are equipped and ready for anything in the whole unit. You are ready for every order. You are ready to go to fucking war. You're ready for everything, right? So that, to me, like my backup plans are battle stations in case, to me, it's more of society, just people realizing there's not anybody at the helm. They all believe the structures, the mailman, all this shit feels like comforting to people. Mm-hmm. Like everything's in order and I can go to Target and it'll be there. Right. So like when society has its moment when, like look what happened with people in fucking toilet paper.
Yeah.
Okay. That's just toilet paper. Imagine food or imagine fucking, geez. In this world, I don't know, with all the kids on fucking electric bikes now. Electric bikes, for Stephen Hawking, electric fucking wheelchairs that don't fly through fucking windows to go to miners. I have my plan with how I know how to get out of Dodge and know what to do, especially with my military training. Like at night, you don't have lights on. Because if there's going to be surveillance from, let's say, a Chinese or let's say North Korea, or even one of our allies could be against us, right? Or align with any of our enemies, right? Like at night is where they're going to find people out in the desert or out in the mountains, or you do not want to put off any electrical current at night because they're going to do their surveillance at night, especially for the first 30 days. And that's where if you're closed up, you could have light inside, but you wouldn't want some alternating current. You would want something very low voltage, and you would just learn to get away with it. You wouldn't need to, oh my God, I got to go pee outside. No light, just go. No, nobody's going to fucking know if you're off the grid. That's how you're off the grid, not because of where you're at as much as where you're not traceable. Then that's when you start making moves after 30 days, and you have to have some sort of vehicle that's not normal that can get through everything to go and start checking in and get close with CB radio. Or I wouldn't probably use fucking any of the more like ham radios because they're all connected with what's going on with Wi-Fi, and they don't really get good signal because they have to go off piggyback of other fucking radio fucking stations. So I would use old school analog CB radio. And I'd try and find any kind of emergency services. I'd check those first. And then I would check fucking other channels until I found somebody. And then in order to verify them, there's different things that you learn in radios of how to make sure somebody's not a government asset or not a fucking taken over asset, to know that they're on a good team and make sure. And then you wouldn't just go meet up with those people. You would talk to them for days and days and days, and you would do interrogation without interrogating to make sure that before you would do, and you would make sure that you would do it in a way that you would have people hiding with weapons and go out there and make sure that they didn't think that you're alone. Oh no, I'm not alone without them. No, you got all these little things. I've already got all. I guess being in the military helps, but
yeah.
But it's not because I'm like planning that's going to happen, but just, you know, battle stations to me is fucking, oh shit, it actually is happening. Battle stations, everything's ready to go. And that's why people saw me. My propane's all fucking stacked, ready to go. It's more about comfort.
Yeah.
Like to me, I think of the comfort in a scenario like that more than I think about like, you know, if I had to rough it, I could rough it on the roof of someplace if I had to. Mm-hmm. But fucking, it's more like, well, it'd be nice to fucking have propane, be able to fucking heat, make food, do that. You know, propane goes farther than anything else that you're going to find. Mm-hmm. And gasoline, and if you have diesel, and being able to fucking have things to trade for goods. That's where crypto's not going to work in a crazy scenario. Nobody gives a fuck about that. People are going to be like, what do you have that I need? Yeah. It's like having those little special things that people, you know, people don't realize, like something like a chessboard could be worth $1 million in what we think of currency today. Let's say a year down a road of a society collapse because somebody doesn't have something to do anymore. When you've lost all of the entertainment of the world, something like that could be worth so much to a group of people because they're going to be like, oh my God, we can play a fucking game.
It's an interesting thought.
You know, people don't think that way though.
Yeah. The only thing that I'm kind of concerned about is that I do have a decent little stockpile of gold and silver. Nothing major. It's probably right now, if I sold it all, I'd probably only get about $5,000 out of it. But like what I'm thinking, like, okay, so my first piece of gold that I bought, just to buy it, was a little bitty sliver of gold like this, cost $100. So if everything crashes, and of course we got emergency food, so I'm thinking, okay, we would eat on our emergency food supply. We got plenty of food. So let's say, for example, we're getting real low on food, and you know, well, fuck, I got gold and silver. So I take my teeny little piece of gold. It's $100. What'll that get me? You know, or I have a dime. I actually got a gold dime that, I mean, it's shaped the same shape as a dime, and it's just got different pictures on it. And I paid $300 for it. What would that get me? And I also have a 20-gram bar of gold that I paid $1,200 for. What would that get me? That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm going through in my head. And I have all these little 1-ounce silver coins, you know? So I don't know what, like, how do I know what an ounce of silver would get me, or what you know, 20 grams of gold would get me? Like that's what I'm going through in my head. How am I going to be able to space this out so that if I have to, if currencies collapse and, you know, gold and silver is the only thing that's worth anything, how am I going to be able to make sure that I can portion all this out and feed my family for as long as I can, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of weird, but in scenarios that were run, especially I was lucky to be in the military right when the Iraq war started, the second one. It's that 30 days that the gold and silver, the Bitcoin, the cash will not mean shit. The gas station attendant will not be there. People aren't going to want money. They're going to want, what do you have, right? What do you have to trade? And like physically, like if I have a Sprite and I like Sprite, but I only have waters and somebody likes waters, well, I'm going to give my 24 pack of waters for a 12 pack of Sprite, you know? And especially the number one things always are, especially what does the military have the overreaching power the most of in this country is the oil reserve. So oil, fuel is the number one asset. Still is today. That's what the whole fiat currency is based off, right? So that's something that people don't have fuel jugs. That's why my RV has 2 30-gallon tanks of fuel that just store fuel with a gas pump. I have my own gas pump, built-in electric. And then that's the other thing is most people don't realize having 12-volt batteries, not for a car, but for like a motorcycle or something, but have like a very high, you know, like a 30, I don't know, like AH, right? So you could have like a lot of power, but people don't realize you could charge a phone, you could charge anything just from a battery. Just take your fucking, you know, your cord for your battery, take the ends off of the USB, split those, get one of those clips, clip it on, make a ground, hook it up to the 12 volt, and you can charge your battery. You can turn on a radio to anything. You can take anything that's 12 volt run and fucking, and batteries go farther than anything, especially for running a generator to anything like that, right? So those are the kind of things we learned in the military that are the most important. Or if you go look at the military, like they don't carry cash or gold or anything with them. They carry weapons, storage of diesel fuel, storage vehicles, of course tanks, but we're not in the world of tanks. So Jeeps, Hummers, 4-wheel vehicles. That if you go to Iraq, that's your things. And the camo packs, that's going to, most people don't have a camo pack. It's like, especially because they're $79 to $100 now, but having a camo pack is everything. You're not going to want to be carrying a jug of water around, plastic water, and you want to have a filter to filter the water and put it in the camel back and put it out on your back, and you could be, nobody has to know you have it. Just be like, be sipping water as you're going through. And the gold and silver comes in when society starts coming back together after that 30 days. Then it's really fucking popping, because then people now have acquired, and whoever didn't make it. Whatever government or no government or anarchy, wherever that is, that's where gold, silver starts becoming a big thing. But in that kind of world, do you really think the internet's going to be on? Like, people don't think with the whole crypto thing too much yet about all that. Like, that's where I think we talk about the big crash. I think it's a double crash. I think it's the crash of the stock market, but it's the crap of crypto. Like, what the fuck? Like, especially if a solar flare hit us, knocked out all the power, it would take us years to even create the whole power grid again. You couldn't fix it all. The transducers around the whole entire fucking United States would go out. The scariest is all the nuclear power plants. What happens is all the nuclear waste has to go into fucking drums that has to be water cooled, and they have to be filtered water that keeps pushing the water to keep it cool constantly. So people don't realize that those generators last for 3 days at a nuclear power plant of diesel backup. That's it. If they don't fucking get power after that, then they will fucking blow up, and it'll be nuclear fucking radiation everywhere. And so people don't realize that if the biggest solar flare, which the next 2 years, this year and next year, is the solar maximum of this 25th cycle. And we already saw one of the biggest X flares fucking that we've seen since 2015. And we haven't even got into the full boom boom yet. The kill shot is the biggest event from the sun, or an EMP attack above America. That's all they have to do. I mean, most people don't realize, like, Americans, there's pictures of U.S. Army sitting underneath a nuclear bomb going off in the sky and not being affected. But the electricity, of course, everywhere is. So they didn't die. They didn't get radiation either, which was crazy. They literally sat under the fucking nuclear bomb that they exploded fucking couple thousand, like 10,000 feet up above, and survived. Nothing happened to them.
I can see that.
And people don't realize, like, the weather balloon incident, that was what was scary. And then that just came out too in the last week, which didn't surprise me, that the Biden administration was trying to cover that up for the American people. but that's the thing, is, like, I was thinking my whole time, like, people don't think, oh, it's a weather balloon. No, that thing could have a minor nuke in it for an EMP attack. And it went right over the train that fucking derailed in that whole fucking train fucking incident that happened fucking in the Midwest. Like, that went right over it that same hour. If you looked at the trajectory. So it was obviously fucking with shit. But that's the kind of shit that people, I think, aren't thinking about, is, like, if the power grid goes out, most people are going to go to a gas station. Well, the gas station isn't going to work because they're all fucking. So what would you do? You would open the fucking containers to where they load the fucking gasoline in. You would find a gasoline truck, and you would raid the gasoline trucks, and you would raid the area. You'd find the area to get the tool to unlock that, and you would go down there and you would siphon fuel out of the fucking tanks at the below all the fucking big gas tanks themselves. Like, that's how you would do it. You wouldn't go to the gas fucking pump. Yeah. But most people aren't ready for that. Yeah. Most people they don't even know how to do sewage or anything like that. Or, we live in a world where people got too pushed into the matrix.
Well, that's some lower timeline shit.
I know.
I firmly believe, like I said, I know that's kind of a touchy subject because I don't try to talk about doom and gloom and whatnot. Yeah. But that right there is a very real timeline. And that's what I think the split that we're going to be going through. And once the shift really, really starts ramping up to the final fucking stage, that's going to be the timeline. Only I think the people that take the lower timeline, they're not going to be crawling up out of that. They're going to be slaves. Everything's going to crash. A lot of people are going to die. And, the few people who do make it out, then they're going to swoop in and, we got the solution to your problem. Stay inside for your safety. Here's your little your little fucking 10 by 10 house that you can live in. You get a fixed income of $1,000 a month. And if you say anything against the president, you can't buy food for a day, you know, and that's the solution to your problem. This is for your safety. That's the lower timeline. The people who aren't waking up right now, that's the world that they're going into. So,
well, it's like Escape from LA, the movie or anything, but really, if you have a family or you have kids, I know it seems smarter to lock it down at your house, but that's the last place you want to be because of martial law.
Yeah.
And that martial law, if let's say the U.S. government got taken over by China, let's say, China wouldn't come out with Chinese people like in a couple movies that they try to show that in. It would be more like, you guys are going out and going to contain this in American shit. Right? They would deceive our own military as they take over the top and have them martial law it and corner everybody and keep them in their homes and all that shit, where I'd be in the desert. I'd be in the mountains. I'd be in a space to where I have my freedom to go figure my shit out with my family and protect, because when you're in a house, you have your neighbors, and even if you know they're cool, other people from other cities coming down that want to go into homes, that want to raid houses for food, for water, unless you have a fucking, that's why you see people like Zuckerberg and shit, but I think they're all they're all feared out of the shit that they've done and just wanting to like be in a bunker, which would be horrible. I'd want to be outside, way away from all that shit. But again, I feel like that could be the timeline shift right there. Like, are you going to sit in your house or are you going to fucking get out? To me, that's what it feels like, is a full get out. Like all the people of the Bible that sat there, especially in the Old Testament, and fucking sat there and sacrificed a fucking lamb and shit and put the blood on the fucking door and sat in their house because they didn't want the Holy Ghost to see them or they would die or go to hell, right? That's exactly what the lower timeline is going to do again, right? Sit in your house, don't do it, and leave. I remember that's what happened when everybody went locked down. Craig and I went to fucking Arizona, and fucking nobody was on the fucking whole entire fucking highway 40, all the way to Arizona, through California. Nobody. Empty. Him and I were like laughing, listening to music, smoking cigarettes, laughing that people were at their houses. And we were in Arizona. We went to Scottsdale. We went to Scottsdale. We went to the fucking biggest Hyatt there. It's like fucking thousands of rooms. Nobody.
Should have seen Laughlin.
Nobody there.
Yeah.
Nobody there. And we were like, what the fuck? And we were looking for a home because we were going to move high vibe to Arizona, and fucking, we found this badass home, and then the fucking homeowner was going to give it to me for all this cheap. And then I fucking, at the last second, was like, I just don't feel like it's the time to move here. But I never sat around at home. I was always out. Nobody's out. So people think, oh, the roads are going to be crazy or whatever. No, they're not. People get scared so easy. Yeah. Look what just happened.
Yeah.
What's funny is Southern California, the number one place in America that had the most speeding tickets, and you know who it was? Lamborghini supercars. Because we were all on the freeway doing 150, 190 because there was nobody on the fucking freeways. And we have the only freeway that's like racing, you know, like where it's nonstop freeways and you can loop around for fucking 100 miles of just fucking straight race car track, you know? I don't know how I didn't get caught. I mean, I always had my radar detector on, but I was doing 200 in my GTR, my AMG GTR. I made it to 200. That car did 207 miles an hour. I never did 207, but I made it to 200. There's nobody on the road. I was like, this is fucking crazy. I mean, I was white knuckled, but my stepdad taught me when you're in that position, you let go of your hand so much and be more easy on the wheel. And like, it actually works. Because if you're, that's when something's going to bad. But at that speed, you're just like, but I have ceramic brakes. So it was like, oh shit. Mm-hmm. But the rich people are out.
Yeah.
So people look at Mark Zuckerberg is like doing all that, or how could he do that? You have to look at yourself. Like why weren't you out on the roads fucking doing 200 miles an hour? Why is it that everybody in zip codes that make over 200,000 or more in those zip codes, there's no COVID deaths, everybody living their life, no businesses shut down. They were just living their lives. In the poorest communities, in the poorest areas in America, everybody locked down. And when 99% of the world is poor, there's something about that. You call it that switch. I'll call it that fucking self-worth within somebody that has to fucking red pill themselves enough to know that they're a badass motherfucker and they can manifest the fucking best life that they got from doing whatever it is. It doesn't matter. If I can do astrology, you could do tarot, anybody could do fucking whatever the fuck they want. There's kids fucking making money, fucking head over heels playing video games for a living.
Yeah.
If you are right now at this moment saying, I can't do it, then you have lost. You haven't taken the red pill. You're still on the blue pill. Even Neo had to take the red pill, and he was stuck at his job. He didn't want to leave his job. He was too afraid. Even Morpheus got him to the fucking, all he had to do was jump over that little fucking thing. Nope. And then where did he end up? In the FBI, and they fucking put the sentinel fucking down his fucking throat, and then they had to pull that shit out, and then he had to go out the hard way. Mm-hmm. It's the same moment here now.
Yeah.
That, you know, like there's no, I mean, I don't want to sound like David Goggins or something, but there's no fucking excuses. And you can't convince somebody to get off the fucking couch and do something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he says, you got to tie him up every morning, and he doesn't mean run, but in your life. And he goes, if you eventually just are every day as tenacious, and it doesn't matter what hour, what time, whatever, you fucking go hard and you never get, you're going to be successful eventually.
Yeah. Yeah. That's no shit. Especially with a phone in your pocket. You got a phone in your pocket.
I know.
There are unlimited numbers of ways to make money. Man, when I first decided I was going to be self-employed, I hadn't touched a computer in 5 years. I didn't know anything about the internet at all.
You were on Obama phones.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember I was up in Maine, and I had to go to, I didn't have internet at my house, dude. I had to go to fucking McDonald's and use the Wi-Fi for a laptop. And I had to type in how to start an online business and just start Googling it. And there's this thing you can do called affiliate marketing. What's that mean? Oh, you mean every fucking company on the internet that has an online store will pay you to promote their products?
Right.
They'll get, you mean all I got to do is ask you permission, and then you give me a link. And if I send somebody the link to this product and they buy it, that company will pay me a commission? Any company? Any fucking company.
Right.
So, and then there's also this thing you can do where you can run ads. I can build my own website promoting this product with my tracking link in it, and I can run an advertisement on Facebook or Google or Instagram and get a bunch of people coming to it and making sales. And that's how it works, dude. It's fucking, the sky's the limit.
And then now with ChatGPT, you could have it code the website for you.
Yeah.
Make it have a better fucking operational aspect to it. Have machine learning into it to learn when it takes a customer to knowing the data behind and go, okay, everybody from this area, this income, this race, this fucking ethnicity, this is all of it. This is what I'm going to put out to the person that will make them click the link more.
See, back when I first started,
that's what AI is. Most people are just like, it's a chatbot. Fucking no, it's so fucking deep.
I had to research that shit myself back when I first started. Like, you know, if it's this kind of product you had to get in there manually and pick your audience, you know? And so now ChatGPT will pick your audience out for you.
It'll look at all your analytics for you if you're on enterprise now.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Because
that was what I was just showing you. Like they just finally got the teams up and and I hooked my corpse to it and I fucking boom. And oh my God, just opened up the plethora. Plus I'm on Omniverse of NVIDIA AI because I have NVIDIA cards that can do the AI. And that's where like right now I could take a video of me, deep fake myself to be however I want to look and change my voice and be a deep fake.
Yeah.
That's all through NVIDIA right now.
Well, that's been out for a long time.
And even with cameras and tracking every customer, that's what's happening in all the stores now. That's why you see everything self-checkout, because they know your movements of how you're doing. If you're not, you know, they've tracked all the data for so long of all the cameras over the last 20 years, right? Especially the last 7 with all the HD shit. And the AI now knows, if anybody who's stealing, they don't reach for their wallet, or they don't reach for their phone this way, or they reach too quick, or they know the timing, they know that, and then that's when the one person will come up to you and the cops already know, and boom, boom, you're done. We're already living in an AI world right now. Yeah. And that's the NVIDIA's shit too. So there's 2 versions of the AI world. There's the NVIDIA and the graphics card world that you can do it yourself and create in the Omniverse and actually start taking the actual software and the hardware that you have yourself and actually creating your own AI shit. And then there's the Chat GPT where you're using their servers and their fucking amount of GPUs and all their graphics cards, and they're providing products and making huge integrations with all these other corps and tech to actually make things easier for you, where you just go, here's this. You can fucking write a book now and have it review the whole book, publish it the way that you want to. You just saw the video thing. It'll even make it a movie script and give you the audio things and do all that. I mean, people are so, they can do anything right now.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, part of that slave undoing and that programming undoing is that whole idea of the clock. And now the clocks aren't even an old time clock like you and I. I remember I had the old punch clock fucking, you know, and fuck, it's 8:02. Shit. Okay, I'll make sure I'll stay till 5:02 because I know they'll fuck me on that hour. You know what I mean? Like the kids' generation don't even know that world. And you know, like that shit was important. Like, and turning in your time clock to the fucking pay lady, like on time and fucking all that shit, like, you know, but that's to unwind yourself from that and go into that yourself, but then have that David Goggins self fucking mastery. Yeah. I love it because he even says, he goes, I know nothing about the brain or nothing about this, but it's the emotion and the soul drive. That's what I love about him, is he brings that.
Yeah.
And fucking, I just watched his newest podcast with that one guy who's that USC neuro, like brain guy. He's fucking amazing.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
It's fucking the best one he's ever done. It's so good because he finally like lets it all out on voice, because he's not one to go on social media much or do a lot, right? And he lets it all out of how he got there and how he was overweight. But the main thing is he's like, I'm fucking pissed. I have to separate myself because I do this and it's a great idea in people's heads. But for them to go do that, he's so pissed because people just don't get up and do it. So he had to describe on the fucking podcast how to fucking do it, and it made him frustrated. Like, I don't know how anybody, he's like, and I'll be honest, I'm pretty harsh. That guy is fucking harsh. I love it though, because I'm down for that shit. Like, talk harsh to me. Yeah. So many people are fucking triggered. Like, get the fuck up and do it. You know what I mean? Like, that's his fucking thing in a bigger way. But
he's an Aquarius with a Taurus moon. And if you listen to this dude talk, I mean, if that doesn't scream Aquarius with a Taurus moon, because he's all about the mind and about playing with your mind and the way you think and talking.
And the voices in your head.
Yeah, and the voices in your head. And but then at the same time, it's that Taurus energy where this motherfucker will run 200 miles on broken legs.
I know.
Holy fuck. Like, god damn. I mean, I'll be 100% honest with you. He is a huge inspiration of mine over the past couple of years. You know, that's the only reason I've been able to really get up and force myself to do the physical activity that I've been doing, you know. But it's
truly mind over matter, fully. Like, he proves it in his life.
When you sit and listen to him talk, he's breaking down and explaining everything I'm trying to break down and explain. I mean, you know, I love the dude. So, I mean, nothing, you know, negative when I say this, but he doesn't really know how to articulate it that well. He knows how to say, get up and fucking do it, you know, and he can kind of break it down a little bit, but like everything he's saying is the same message I'm putting out there.
Right.
You know? And it's every last one of us who are trying to help you understand how to accomplish your goals or better your life or whatever it is that you're wanting to do. We're all giving you the same message. It's all the same message. We're just explaining it in our own unique way, you know?
Exactly. I mean, honestly, that's what he had to say on the podcast too. Is he's like, you know, he goes, you know, I know all these people go spend all this money on Tony Robbins and all this stuff, and like, it doesn't matter. Or you buy my book, or even you watch something for free. It doesn't matter the price or whatever. It's the price that you pay by not doing something in your life. But it was even more interesting because he brought up relationships, which that's what he doesn't go too much into on the podcast that he just was on. And he's like, I am up front with my partner. Like, I have to be this driven in this way. I'm going to provide for you. I'm going to do the things that you need, but I need my space, because if I lose that, if I give too much of my energy away to you to just because you don't want me to do something, then I'm going to fall back into that. I might not look 900 pounds now, but I'll go back to 900 pounds. I'll go back to that right away. I'll lose that. So he's like, I've had to be, you know, because they brought up on how there's that moment where you are alone in your life and you have to do it alone. You know, you can't be, oh, let me hold on to somebody and hopefully they'll do it. You know what I mean? For me. That's not going to happen. You're going to have to do it on your own, about that power within that you find yourself, and set the determination. You can be in a relationship and do that, but you still got to find that within yourself. But he brought up, he's like, you know, his fiance now is like somebody who understands him, and he understands her. And he's like, sometimes I got to be up fucking till, he says he doesn't sleep some nights. Some nights he just stays up all night working and fucking does shit. And then fucking is like, because I'm not going to fucking stop in my life. And some people might think that's bad, and some people might think that's not healthy. And he's like, but it's more healthier energetically to be fucking something than nothing and just be living. He's like, he got harsh, of course. He's like, I feel so sad. All these people die, and they died. They did nothing. They fucking went to a horrible job they hate. They didn't do anything for their life. They didn't fucking do shit, and they didn't get up. And he goes, every time I'm on a stage he's had a stage with like 100,000 people. He's like, when you get up on a stage and there's 100,000 people or 10,000 people, I go up there and I go, I fucking did this shit. I fucking did this shit. You fucking didn't. I'm like, I love this guy. Fucking, that is fucking how I think, but I don't think in that kind of way. I'm kind of like more just as a Leo, like absorbed him. Like, I'm proud of myself. You know what I mean? But like fucking this guy fucking straight up, I'm like, damn, maybe I have a moon in Taurus like him. So that Taurus like fucking appreciation of like, fuck yeah, I did it. I fucking got here. I was like, fuck yeah, fucking, if you're not saying that in your life enough, there's a problem. You know?
Yeah. Oh, that's the best feeling in the world. I'll never forget when we first moved into that house in Vegas, you know, like I say, there's something like real personal that I don't talk about a whole lot in public. And that's like when my grandfather passed away. You know, he went to his deathbed totally ashamed of me, because I was a piece of shit. I was a fucking loser. And then it hit me like a ton of bricks. I fucking failed him. You know, he always wanted a son, you know, because he never got to have a son. So raising me was the closest thing to raising a man to carry on his name, his legacy, you know? And he went to his deathbed feeling like he failed. So like I made it my life's mission to be the man he wanted me to be. And I felt like I failed. When I ended up homeless, I was like, man, I done failed at everything. And then the day that we walked into that big 7-bedroom house in Vegas, and I got to tell my kids to go up and pick your room out, you know, and like I was like, I looked out the window of that house and I had tears in my eyes. I was like, I fucking did it.
Yeah.
I fucking did it, man. That was like the best feeling in the world. And I mean, it makes all the struggle and everything that you go through worth it, you know?
Yeah, and I feel like, I don't know, because it's really weird. I'm named after my grandfather by name. I was getting kicked out of the military when he died.
Oh.
And like I was named after him. He was so proud of me up until, of course, him finding out. But then he was having an elective heart surgery that they were trying to push. I wasn't around. I was AWOL and all that shit. And fucking he died. And it was the same thing for me. I felt like, oh my God, my fucking papa died fucking with the legacy I'm supposed to leave and all that. And him thinking I failed. And that's been a huge driving force in my life the whole time. I mean, I dedicate, even in my office, the picture of him and shit. Fucking people don't know that. I don't actually talk about it much, but that shit happened. My grandfather died in the middle of me being AWOL, and like him knowing and him dying, and I never got to talk to him about it, or, you know, like just, that's even worse is that I don't know what he really thought, but I knew he knew. Because I was a runner. I couldn't talk to my family. The fucking military was showing up at my family's house. All my family. In full dressed fucking uniforms. Fucking high up officers. Where's David Palmer? Fucking, you know what I mean? Like, So I remember for me, it was as stupid as my first apartment in Hollywood to build my studio at, after the year and a half of being homeless and doing it outside videos all the time. Every day, fucking, to get people and doing readings, fucking, and you know, the craziest places. Yeah. And just that moment of like, I fucking did it. And I had a Walmart money card, and I think you had the same thing too.
Yeah.
And going to the check cashing place to fucking pay my rent, fucking by pulling out money from PayPal through a Walmart money card through ATMs. I had to go every day and get that 300 max out in order to get that fucking $2,200 or whatever it was for rent, or it was like $2,500. I had to do that. You know, if I didn't, then I'd be fucked. People don't think about that shit. Like
They don't know the struggle.
You know, like
all the people that like to, you know, try to fucking talk shit about people like us, you know, like, I don't know. People, I guess people just think we're handed what we have.
I know.
Oh, it must be nice. I hear that all the time. Must be nice. And I remember about a month or two ago, back in December, I posted a picture of our big Christmas tree, our big 12-foot Christmas tree.
I know. I saw it in person.
Yeah, and some lady said something in the comments. Not everybody is as well off as you. And I said, no, they're not. And this sure beats the hell out of Christmas 2015. I spent that Christmas in a homeless shelter. So I know not everybody's as well off as me, but they could be. And that's why I do what I do. None of this shit was handed to me. I don't know anybody who is anywhere who had it handed to them. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. It does sometimes, you know, but that's not success. That's not a manifestation path. You know, I mean, every last one of us that got where we wanted to be fucking struggled through that shit, you know?
Well, especially I think the big debate right now that's happening with Elon Musk and Mark Cuban is this whole, you know, diversity thing is like most people are handed things to them now based off their race or based off their sexual preference.
Oh, yeah.
Like here you have this job just because you're that.
Yeah.
We need to fill the job. Oh, you fit that ethnicity and you fit that sexual orientation. Perfect. There's the job for you. Mm-hmm. So I think that it's crazy because it's racist.
Yeah.
I mean, that like, every law is being broken right now because of the diversity, and they're changing it in the military. They changed it in all these places, and that's how they're trying to get around it is by saying, well, you know, we're changing these laws in our own corporate books or our own government stuff, but then they still keep the original fucking, you know, civil rights and those laws. And I think that's the hard part is like people don't realize, like, I mean, for me, I spent 2002 Christmas in boot camp, 2003 in prison. So back-to-back Christmases locked up, like him being screamed at and threatened and having to physically beat my life. And it wasn't like there was a Christmas tree. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like there wasn't a caroler to be seen anywhere. You know, so you know, it's like those. I'll be honest; I thank God for those things that happened in my life. Though most people, I don't think realize that actually the gratefulness, is not as much as the sweet stuff, but that, as you always like to say, like the hard stuff first, then the sweet.
Yeah,
that hard shit, I thank God for, because I always try to think of me in the other parallel world as like if I didn't go through that, like. If I was like an insurance salesman or like, especially at I'm going to be 40 this year. And I'm like, God, what if I would have picked that other parallel earth, like, geez. And I think that's what's kind of crazy is I know we already have time shifted and we're kind of completing it here. Is because I never in my wildest dreams as a kid or anything would thought this would be what I do. This would be the last thing on the list I ever even dreamed possible.
Yeah.
That's how I know we're in a fucking different shit, because I'm like, you mean to tell me, like, if you would have told me at 12 years old, like, yeah, you're going to be a famous astrologer and run a TV spiritual network about spirituality. What?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? You know what I mean? I wanted if I could be a rock star, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's literally what I wanted to be, and I can't sing, so it didn't work out.
Yeah.
And I can't play guitar well. My fingers are, I don't know. When I get with chords and shit, no, man. But DJing, that popped up. But it was like, and then it was like, I got television. It was like, no. You need to do TV for spirituality. It was like so humbling, but at the same time, fucking rough and hard, and being like, okay, I guess that's a long fucking mountain, but I'm going to climb it. And I think that's where people have to find that within them. Is like, it's better to be on a hard trail climbing the mountain to your truth than it is to be on the flat surface that's easy.
Well, not only that, but I mean, I feel like the struggles, that's the only thing that's really honestly enjoyable about success is the fact that you struggled first. Like if I never went through the struggles, I wouldn't appreciate my life. I wouldn't appreciate the things that I have if I didn't struggle for it. I mean, I can remember because I used to hear those little cliche phrases. People say, oh, count your blessings. Everything you have is a blessing. And back in the day, I'd be like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. I need a better car, you know? And then when I was living under that bridge and I hadn't had a shower in 3 months, I remember thinking, man, I know what they're talking about now. A shower would be a fucking blessing. When I stepped into that homeless shelter, I got my bunk bed, and you had to take shits in front of everybody and shower in front of everybody. It was like a boot camp. I felt like
exactly. I was about to say.
Yeah, I felt like I hit the fucking
Been
lottery.
through that one at 18. I was like, what the fuck? I better get used to this.
Yeah, I felt like I hit the lottery though, and it was amazing but if I didn't go through that, I wouldn't appreciate anything that I have right now. I wouldn't, because I mean, all the nice new things. Yeah, it's nice at first, the new car. It was nice. You get that brand new car you love. It's nice for the first few months, and then you get kind of used to it. It's out there, and the nice new house. Yeah, it's nice at first, and then after 6 months to a year, it's like blah, whatever. It's a house, But you keep that appreciation in there because you think back where you were.
Yeah.
I think back, man. I was in a homeless shelter, and the things that I have today wouldn't be enjoyable if I didn't start off in a homeless shelter. You see what I'm saying?
I mean, that's why I think somebody like Stephen Hawking, people might look at him like he had it so bad. But obviously, before he got in a wheelchair and everything, I mean, he had some health stuff, but like, obviously this guy, somebody floated him through to be the guy he is and to take care of him that, you end up getting into midgets and shit. So, and that's where I think what happens is if you don't have, like you said, something to look back on, especially an anchor that's, anchors, people don't even think about it. But when an anchor goes down the ocean, it's not like you want to go down there to where that anchor is. It's probably fucking gnarly what's down there and the sharks and the fucking weird shit that's down with the anchors.
Yeah.
But knowing that anchor, that you were down there when you're up at the boat, which you could say is a yacht of life, it's about understanding that, thank God I'm anchored there that keeps this boat, and knowing how far you can take the boat without fucking pulling the anchor out too, because like once you get to those places that, are hard, really the real hard, that's where you actually wake up the most. Mm-hmm. It really is. And that's, maybe that's the most unpopular thing. If I was running for politics and if there was spiritual politics, that would be the thing every fucking buddy would tell you not to say. Oh, don't say that. Don't tell people they get to go through fucking the dark fucking hell, fucking what looks like hell, but really you're breaking out of the matrix. Don't tell them that because, oh God, we want to be all light and fluffy and we want it to make it look like it's so easy and perfect and everything's fine. But the truth is, I think whether it's the religions or, because that's already a hurdle to get over, but I think that the system itself is no longer feeding the drug the way it is for people, and so they're already coming down. Mm-hmm. And I think the belief of the way they still do with like stimulus packages for money to keep these systems afloat or whatever, like it's like a knowing that the can's been kicked down the road too long. And I think at the end of this Pluto transit, people are either knowing, fuck, I was not kicking a can down the road, I was creating my fucking road. Or you're like, I'm just been kicking the can down the road with a bunch of other people and we were hoping that something would show up, and it's not. All that's showing up is the things that are really all these things in the world, whether it's Epstein files to fucking fake holographic aliens, all of it is a reflection on the collective or individuals that haven't faced themselves. The uglier it gets, the uglier it is that you have to look at the ugly stuff inside that you're not willing to look at. I don't trust anybody who hasn't been through shit.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, that's I think the epitome of why they don't want us to know that that's the truth, because, you know the old saying, hard times create strong men, strong men create easy times create weak men create hard times. And it's the cycle. So, I think they're trying to break that cycle, because if they can just keep everybody weak, then nobody will succeed. If everybody thinks it's supposed to be easy and you brainwash everybody into believing it's supposed to be easy, well, then you got a society full of weak people that you can control. That's why they don't want nobody to know that it's supposed to be hard. Because if you know that it's supposed to be hard, it has to be, by way of universal law. This isn't just my opinion. You grow through adversity. Same thing that happens to your body when you go to the gym and pump weights. You don't just wake up in the morning ripped and shredded. You got to go put your body through adversity, and that's what makes it grow. This is the way everything manifests. So getting people to understand that, no, it's not supposed to be easy. It can't be easy because that's not the way this fucking dimension operates anyways. That's what we need to get people to understand. It's not supposed to be easy. It's never going to be easy, at least as long as we're in this dimension. You know, maybe one of these days whenever we ascend to a higher timeline, who knows how the laws of physics will work then. But as far as we're in these thick, dense skin suits here in this fucking dimension here, it's not going to be easy, period.
No. Or it's like the Truman Show. It wasn't easy. He had to wake up, realize the pattern, see that all these people he didn't even know they were actors, but know something's off. Mm-hmm. Oh, try to go down the road. It's fucking, no, it's closed. There's a da-da-da-da. Because it doesn't go much farther, but he doesn't know that. So he ends up getting on a fucking little rowboat and rows himself, and then they fucking throw the fucking storms on him and try to actually fucking kill him at a point.
Yeah.
And he fucking survives and makes it to the fucking, it's a fucking wall. Fucking then to walk through the door.
You're waking out of the matrix.
Like that's the fucking shit we're going through right now. Mm-hmm. And I think that doesn't come fucking easy. But again, it's about, I don't know, taking maybe a David Goggins energy of like, you know, it's about God, you know, they said in that podcast too, I keep forgetting the guy's name. Fucking, I know it right now. That
Anthony something?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that white guy from USC. Like, got a huge podcast.
He's always talking about the brain and shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was from USC, but.
Yeah. He's,
always talking about dopamine. Like every time I see a video of his.
Yes. And it was, man, it's so funny. I just typed in David Goggins motivation and it was like, oh man, everybody was, Andrew Huberman. Yeah.
Oh, Andrew. Okay.
Andrew Huberman. Yeah. But Andrew was saying that pain itself releases dopamine, physical pain. Right. So that's why, you know, especially because they were going on the SEAL shit. Why are the SEALs the toughest motherfuckers on the planet? The fucking pain those guys go through and the dopamine rush that they get and the strength that they get, that instead of going out and smoking weed or whatever, they do it from going out and fucking getting that fucking dopamine rush in a strong, healthy, positive way.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are afraid of pain. They get a little pinch of something now, like, give me a Vicodin. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what? Like, and you can't take the pain? So pain is something that actually is a positive too for growth. And spiritual growth has spiritual pains that you have to learn to accept. You know, a lot of people want to reject the pain that we go through spiritually, but the spiritual pain we go through is the lessons that make us stronger, because the muscle spiritual memory gets built, and then you're able to take on more every time. Yeah. And I think that's the best part about it, is like these things that people are tripping out about, fucking go into them. Don't be afraid. Look at it with common sense. Use, as you said at the beginning of this, is use your intuition. I'm sorry, but I don't think that the aliens would choose a Miami fucking mall to come if they did. That's where kind of my common sense shit is like, you're going to go to a mall in Miami? What are you trying to do this? Unless you're into salsa dancing and fucking maybe trying to fucking get some big tits and some new fucking lips or something, or you want a Brazilian butt fucking, or I don't know. Like, why are you guys going to the Miami Mall? Of all the places in the universe to fucking go, you're going to the Miami fucking Mall with some kid and his brother and his family that are going to get new fucking shoes at Foot Locker? That doesn't seem anywhere in the fucking, if I was plotting to go and we understood there was some planet with something there and I was able to research and see all the shit, the last thing I would do is go to the mall.
They usually show up in like farms and shit, don't they?
I mean, I get with crop circles, I guess, but you know, it's like, I think a lot of this is just, I guess they all want to be Miami Housewives and get new lips and get new butts and get new fucking titties. You know what I mean?
I just think that it's it all boils down to everything that's happening is being very carefully monitored and controlled. You know, nothing happened the way it happened by accident. They did this the way they did it for a reason. I believe this is my opinion. So I'm very clear on what is my opinion and what is not. It is my opinion that they did things the way they did them on purpose, and the media didn't cover it on purpose because they wanted people like us to talk about it, because they're trying to get people to look away from the media and say, well, what the fuck? Why aren't they talking about this? They talk about anything and everything else, you know? Why aren't they talking about this? And now people like me and you are talking about it, and people are going to cut clips out of videos like these and post them everywhere. And I think it's being very carefully monitored and controlled and done a certain way on purpose. That's just my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but
no, I mean, that's where I'm an astrologer, and it's like the divine timing is. A lot of people always get upset when life doesn't go their way. And as an astrologer, I'm always reminding them by looking at their transits or looking at their progressions or looking at their own natal chart and how that's being affected is like, it's always so funny. They're like right around that corner. That corner is right there. And we naturally feel that when we're a kid. I remember I grew up next to Disneyland. So when I went to Disneyland, I remember being like, we're fucking there. No, we're in the parking lot. And this is before they made the fucking big parking lot. It was just a big parking lot. Oh my God, we got to walk fucking all the way, and then the fucking line for the tickets, and then the line to fucking get in, and then I got to get in the line to get on the fucking ride. Like, you know, like people are always thinking that it's just right there and they want it the way it is. And the divine timing for, you know, I saw David Icke, he was getting really upset because Alex Jones got put back on, and they're friends. He's been on Alex's show a bunch, but he was all upset because now Tucker brought up about the alien conversation just in the last 2 weeks, how it's more about non-physical but spiritual entities, right? And he got upset because that's what his whole fucking work's been since he was a fucking sportscaster in the British media, then went against it, fucking totally broke out of the matrix, started wearing teal fucking clothing, you know, like fucking to look fucking in the higher vibrational energies, and then went on television and started talking about earthquakes and spiritual things, and then started getting into reptilians and started putting that out, and then they all called him crazy. And then he's been amazing. He's filled up fucking huge stadiums and done huge presentations. Like, he's one of the biggest guys out there who's really been on the awakening path for people forever. And he feels butthurt that they're not involving him in all the conspiracy talks and all that shit, that there's like this new media with Daily Wire, and it's crazy because it's out. A lot of people are saying like, you got to be careful, even with Tucker, all that shit, because it's like they're all in it. It's now that's the new, you got to be in the game to play, and you got to be in those things with Tim Cast and with that, and that's the only people that are allowed in. They only look after each other, right? And it's like, and I wrote to him and I said, dude, you already know the divine timing when the shit really is going to be needed is when you're going to be the voice that will pop up when it's supposed to be that voice. Yeah. He didn't write me back, but I was just like, you know that. And I wasn't mean. I was really positive. Like, cheer up, dude. Like, they're talking about it at this little point. The real shit hasn't hit. And when that real shit hits, I'm sorry, but I don't think Tucker Carlson's going to know how to describe that. Yeah. And I don't think Tim Cast IRL is going to be able to describe that. And I don't think fucking any of those fucking conservative guys are going to be able to describe shit about what's going on in the awakening experience. But me, you, a David Icke, any of those people that have been doing it, that's when our time's right here. We're right at the corner. The astrology thing right at the corner. Yep. And that corner starts in a week and a half. So... and that's just the beginning of just the beginning. That's the parking lot. So, and that means you're there, but it's gonna be awesome. So I think that people have to remember that follow, I don't even like saying new age community. I feel like it's just the true divine fucking code, the true awakening experience. Honestly, the awakening experience is the best name. And that's why I love this podcast with you. And that I'm grateful that you asked me to be on this with you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's a fucking great name, and it really is what it is. It's fucking the awakening experience. That's what our life is, the journey we're on,
Yeah. I'm kind of glad to see how this show evolved into what it did, because it started back in 2022, and I started feeling this weird urge to start a podcast on a second YouTube channel. And I actually started feeling that urge, 2 years prior, but it got so loud that I couldn't shut it out. So I started it. I called it the Awakening Experience. I put up several interviews with several
a lot
people.
of them.
And then it just kind of slowed to a halt and stopped. And I'm like, okay. I stepped away and I'm like, all right, I don't know why I felt called to do that. Okay. All right, universe. I'm trusting that one of these days you're going to show me why I felt called to do that. I don't know. I had no idea that I was going to take that show and move it to a spiritual TV network, but that's just the way the path works. You do what you feel called to do, even if it doesn't make any fucking sense, and it'll make sense later.
Yep.
That's the path. Trust.
Yeah, and we'll be on the path of the eclipse in fucking Texas on April 7th and 8th. Go to teamlightstore.com or find Team Light, Rion. All the people at Team Light will be out there in Austin for the eclipse. We'll be talking, doing this podcast. There'll be awesome speakers there. We're both doing our own lectures there too. And then we'll be outside during the eclipse on that Monday. There's this awesome fucking convention center we're at, but then outside the convention center where there's this fucking awesome bridge and shit, where we'll be out there with the fucking eclipse happening. It'll be total. And we'll be there speaking with a bunch of other light workers, really bringing the light. So you can get tickets now. They're super cheap and it's over half sold out. So
It's probably getting about there by now.
I know. Yeah, I know. There's 1,000 tickets available and 500 plus are going already. So
I thought it was 700, wasn't it?
Yeah, but he said if it's fucking popping, he'll try to get 1,000 in there.
Cool.
So,
Damn. Fuck.
I mean,
It's going to be a big one.
yeah, I mean, for it to not even like he's coming. Rion just has been in Mexico for the fucking holidays. He's coming in this weekend and he's gonna call me, and then I'm like, okay, let's fucking okay, and then it's like, let's get fucking on that. We haven't even promoted it hardcore, and it's almost halfway sold out. Or it is halfway sold out, so it's like, But if you want to get on that shit now, Team Light, go look it up, teamlightstore.com, and the tickets are there, and we'll be there, and our ladies will be there, and fucking we're going to go make it happen.
Hell yeah.
So, well, we'll see you on the next one. Let us know in the comments below if you're enjoying this. Also follow, we have the Awakening Experience clip page. That's another YouTube where clips get put out on. And yeah, follow Rich. His link is down below in this video. And I'm on High Vibe, and much love to you all. And we'll see you on the next one. Don't be afraid. Keep it real. Peace. Adios.